Hey, welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast, Episode 9.
Episode 9, baby.
Yeah, where we talk about movies, TV, video games, and music. I'm your host, Bill Voigt.
And I am your second host, Kayman Hernandez.
What up, dude?
How's it going, man?
Going good. Smoking this delicious cigar. You know, I wasn't going to name this cigar, but I have to just in this podcast. It's a My Father, and it's called Blue, and it is one of the best cigars I've ever puffed on in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a tasty cigar for sure. I am, well, I'll name mine here. I'll just name the company at least. It's a Rocky Patel today.
Yep.
For me, I've got two of these bastards, and I've got this one here. And if you want to see my cigar, you'll have to go
and
on.
Mine.
You'll have to go on to the Instagram the Speakeasy Podcast BK. That is our Instagram handle, and go and look at the images that we post there. We post pictures of before the recordings when we set everything up, the drinks that we're having, and everything like that. We're going to move on that from now on forward. So Go and look at the Instagram.
Yes, check out the Instagram.
And also subscribe to our YouTube. We're going to get video content out at some point soon. We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it for sure. We're excited. We're just trying to take the slower old man route here.
Yeah.
Let's move to the digital underground, Kayman.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to talk about today?
I mean, I heard that Sony is back at it again, making more disappointing.
They are our favorite stepchild right now.
Redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, I think that after this podcast, we need to go down to the local sports authority and buy some metal baseball bats to beat this kid in line. Dude, they're raising the prices of their online network, and they're saying it's because, you ready? Because of market conditions.
Oh, I was going to say tariffs.
They're getting sued for that, by the way.
Who? Sony?
Yeah, just like you know how Nintendo got sued for their tariffs.
Oh, really?
Okay, so they double dipped, right? They tacked on the amount of tariffs money to the people. They're suing the government, so is Sony, to get their tariff money back. They already got it to their customers, and there's gamers right now in California that are suing Sony for double dipping.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh man, Sony, dude. What are we gonna do with you, Sony?
They're all so bad, but I just love how they're upping the price on the internet because of market conditions. What conditions? Can you logically tell me, Kayman, can you tell me what are the logical reasons that somebody would do that besides, dun, 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 greed?
Sunken cost fallacy.
The other thing that I hate Sony for right now is it has been confirmed they are pulling single-player adventures off of the PC. And
well, I think they confirmed that a while ago, but
it was only rumors. They did not say it yet. They didn't. Typical Sony fashion. They didn't say it
until it was.
They let everybody else talk about it and blah 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 blah. And obviously, the people that are in the now and on the social media, they were right. You know, it's like the data breach and everything else they do. They wait until everybody else calls them out.
For sure. I don't know, man. Sony's been on our shit bucket list for a minute here. And, you know, we talked about it prior, but, like, we're going to keep talking about them as much as they keep doing all of it, you know? And it frustrates me so much because Sony's one of my all-time favorite gaming companies, you know? And we had a lot of good memories with Sony and their games and their consoles, but, like, it's just so hard to be a Sony fan, I feel right now.
Especially when you're looking at the overall internet. You know, internet costs money, right?
Everything costs money.
They are projected profits are ridiculous, and they still want more. And they want it from the people. Like, remember you always say this, you always say the whales, right? I don't think Sony sees it. I think they see everybody in their ecosystem as a whale. Because why would you not just jack up the prices?
Just buy everything and then,
yeah.
Well, I mean, when we were talking about them doing the dynamic pricing, when we heard about them doing the dynamic pricing was when my brain was just immediately going like, okay, that's just them trying to squeeze as much more money out of customers as out of whales as possible.
Dude, the moment that you and I were sitting on the back porch having a cigar, and before we did the podcast, any kind of podcast, and we literally looked it up on our phones. Like this wasn't just hearsay. Like we heard the rumor. We actually logged in.
Yeah.
I was done. Like the only reason my PS5 is sitting upstairs right now is because my wife has told me not to get rid of it yet because she knows that I'm kind of one of those guys that's like, fuck these guys, fuck that. Then I'm like, I want God of War. I want Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
And part of it's right, but the other part of me is like, I'm not going to be giving my face
fucked
ID,
around with. I mean,
you know, and anybody that's got a PS5 that listens to our podcast, I mean, dude, we feel your pain. It's not fair because we both own PS5s. We talk a lot of shit about Sony, but it's because, in my opinion, whenever Sony gets to be number one in the console war, they fuck it up. When they are behind, they are the best.
Right.
When
they're the underdog.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that when Microsoft was number one with 360, they weren't as bad as Sony is right now. I mean, yes, they still charged you for like the online services, but they were giving you way better value for money.
I mean, I feel like that was like kind of the biggest complaint with Xbox is just with PlayStation 3, you didn't have to pay for online services. You just paid for the console.
But their online services were broken. They weren't nearly as good. Yes, you're right. It was definitely cooler that they didn't charge. But dude, I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. Even though I was really frustrated with Xbox back in the day because of the Red Ring of Death, Microsoft is more of an enterprise asshole than they are an Xbox asshole. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to businesses and strangleholding businesses and people that work in software under their thumb of licensing, they're the assholes when it comes to that. But when it came to Xbox, it always just seemed like they kind of had the gaming thing figured out. I mean, before we talk about Steam all the time and Valve, before they got into the console race or attempting to get in the console race with the deck and the machine, Microsoft was kind of that bridge at the time because they were kind of doing both.
I'm thinking about like when we were talking about the circular, timeline in this where back in the day, with the console wars, it felt different, right? Because there were definitely things that each console did that was better, but then they both had their own problems. And I'm trying to think about that right now because I'm like, okay, we are kind of circling back to how it used to be, but like everything's kind of in a different way. So like,
you remember what PS3's issue was back in the day?
I can't remember. No.
Okay, I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah.
So your dad had a PS3 that was the one that had all the memory card slots in it. You could do different memory storages, whatever. They had the yellow light of death.
Yeah, but I heard that was way more rare than the red ring.
It was rare, but it was still failure was still happening.
Yeah.
Until they changed to the second series of PS3 where they got rid of that board altogether, or that little module that was in there. That really was the reason why they were failing, and nobody was really using it. Sony did that a lot back then. They threw all these cool little features, and then they eventually get rid of it because nobody fucking used it.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about it a lot, and it's interesting to see Xbox turning it around. And
100%, dude.
Right now, which is huge, but apparently Xbox is starting to ask for their fans for more feedback on their platform. And I'm going to quote Guy Richards, who I think is the CEO of Microsoft or something, but I think it's something in Microsoft and Xbox. He says, we're going to keep meeting players where they are. The world continues to evolve and change, and we're going to make sure that Xbox is a great place for developers and players. Now, Sony already has an ecosystem, right, in their developer space. I'm thinking developer space. Player space is something that develops with just how,
good
community.
Content or whatever.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how Xbox has shifted more towards allowing like independent stuff on their platform. Like I'm thinking about putting like Proteus, right? That's an indie game, and they had that game headlining on Xbox Game Pass.
Xbox has, or Microsoft and Xbox have a lot more in competitive nature with Valve than Sony does.
Oh, they are definitely.
Sony is like Nintendo. They're the old gatekeepers, right? And Microsoft is losing their market shares, like we spoke about before, to Linux people like myself who've gone to Linux.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They want the dominance for Windows. That's their cash cow. So they definitely want gamers. I mean, they're going to have Steam on the next Xbox.
Yeah.
And I don't think PlayStation is going to.
No.
And the Xbox CEO, the person that took over, Asha Sharma, I think her name is. Her name is. She is also on Twitter responding to people.
Yeah.
I mean,
she was doing that day one when she got in too.
Like we've heard you. You know, like the Xbox. They understand that in order to make money, at least they're attempting to. They can still step on the rake because we all know.
Because they have to listen and they have to do what they're going to say.
Their gamer base will leave.
Yeah,
and Xbox is a big brand. Like everybody, like even myself, counted Xbox out for a long time. You know, after the 360, I was kind of still supporting the Xbox One, and I was excited for the next Xbox and the PlayStation. I like healthy competition because I think it pushes everyone when you're in whatever space you're in. Healthy competition pushes creativity.
It pushes the market to get better, even if
and
it's the same thing with games, same things with music, movies.
I mean, obviously we've beat it over the head, but turning the Xbox into a media center, in 2013 was ahead of their time. Like, I don't like Don Matrick, the guy that was ahead of Xbox back then.
Yeah.
And when Phil Spencer came in, he was like a hero because he came back to gaming. Like, yes, they've struggled a little bit with Game Pass and all that other stuff, but he still brought it back to game-centric, which is really what Xbox gamers want. And they want, I mean, I don't really care about exclusivity. Like, if you got to have it to push your console sales for some reason, then have it timed.
Yeah,
have timed.
So typically, they mostly are. It's mostly like a game will come out, and then a year later they'll port it over or something like that.
Not for PlayStation anymore.
Not anymore, no.
But I think that if Xbox wants to meet Valve at the front line of competitiveness, I think they allow, like Valve does, and they allow Steam to be on their console, and they allow Xbox games to be bought on Steam. Because they're still going to make money. You're still going to support the developers making those games.
Yeah.
And don't lobby it behind Xbox Game Pass. Like, make Game Pass better. Like, a guy like me doesn't have Game Pass, right? Make it better so I want to sign up.
Right.
Have
actual games that people are going to want to play.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of the difficulty, I feel, because like they've pushed on having a lot of indie titles on there, and the only platform I think I know that really has a healthy market with indie and AAA is like Steam. So I'm trying to figure out how they could do that in a way to make it interesting to come over to Game Pass, because they have a lot of indie titles and like AA studio titles on the Game Pass, but it's not worth it just because a lot of people don't want to play those games, right?
What are your thoughts on, so you know how for years since consoles have gone online, right? They charge a fee, right? A yearly subscription, a monthly subscription, whatever. And a lot of what they say is, it's because we're subsidizing the console so much. It should cost $600 or $800, but we're losing so much money.
We're losing cost on this.
So we got to charge you for everything, right? So now that the new consoles are going way the fuck up in price, I mean, how can they justify charging their customer base a subscription fee for online?
They really can't.
Even right now, like in the current state of how we talked about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox is going way up in price.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they can sit there and say, well...
It makes me curious to see, because like with the Steam machine, you're just going to be able to play it out of the box. So they're not going to charge you anything, because they just don't care. But, I'm interested to see if Xbox is actually going to take that away, doing like Xbox Live, but just moving it straight to just Game Pass, and doing, getting rid of the whole, you need to have Live in order to play online with their new console that they're going to charge, up price for. Because if they are going to be listening to the community, that's what they're going to be talking about the most, I feel.
I mean, think about this, though. You were just saying that, and I was going to ask you. So, apparently you can run Steam on the Xbox, right? Or that's the rumor.
It'll be connected to it on the storefront, yeah.
I mean, how could you charge a yearly fee for gaming if you could just get on Steam?
What if it was like Xbox games, like labeled ones that you downloaded from Xbox were online, like you had to have Live, but if you downloaded it from Steam, they'd be like, no, you can play it online.
Yeah. That is the main reason why I'm so excited about the Steam machine.
Dude, the Steam machine, and we've fucking preached this on and on and on, it is going to break the console market.
I did hear a rumor. We talked about this about the $600 price tag.
Point. Yeah,
I heard it might be up to $1,000.
That's what everybody's said that it was going to be for the longest time. That's why when you brought it up being 600, 650, it's definitely a shock for sure. Mostly because, I mean, like, the way that I'm trying to think about it, right? You take a look at the Steam Deck, right? And they said that a Steam machine is 6 Steam Decks. So take base price Steam Deck, which was like, what, $300? And then times that by 6. So then that's going to be what? Technically, it would be higher than 1,000, right? Because that's the
like
multiplication.
$2,000.
Yeah,
because the 300 times 6 is
half that.
Yeah,
and that's what the price of the console would be, right? Because
like $800.
Yeah,
I personally agree that I think that's a fair price in this current market, especially with all the free shit you're going to get. Because you pay $800, you get a Steam controller.
I mean, dude, just for us buying it, we have all of our games, every single game.
I can actually see it going down to $650 for one reason only: lower storage.
Yep,
and no Steam controller.
Yep. I agree.
And if
I think the console price alone, without any additional things, might even just be $450, just because of how they are with their stuff. Because I mean, think about it: when Steam Machine or Steam Deck released, it was lower than the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But they had the different options that increased the price of it. I think like the 1 terabyte with the case and shit like that was like what, like $700 or something.
I think they all came with cases.
No, the highest price. Well, they all came with the case, but the highest price point one came with like a special case.
That's the one that was like $650, the 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
The one I got was the $500 one without the anti-reflective.
The middle one, yeah.
But it still came with a cool case. Like
they all come with cases, but I think the highest point one comes with like the badass case and then the extra. Yeah,
yes,
which is awesome. You know, and I think that they're probably going to do the same thing too. And the other thing that I'm interested too is like they also hinted that they want the front face to be customizable, so they're going to already have some sort of third-party company developing front faces for you. So like, there's already been a couple that were shown, like one of like the orange box with like Team Fortress, Half-Life, and things like that being the front cover of it.
I'm totally getting a custom one with the Speakeasy podcast on it.
That would be cool. I mean, that could be easy, you know. And I feel like they're going to try to do a good price point, you know, $650, and then doing a price point for customizability, like getting a cool controller or getting a cool face, you know, adding extra shit to it to up the cost.
I was watching a YouTube video where they had 5 pretty popular gaming people on there, and one of them was Jimmy Champagne, and he was with this guy. His name's Bill something, I can't remember. It's called Nerd Nest. Cool show, cool channel. I liked everything they're talking about. But he was saying, like, one of the things they said was, how can you have so many SKUs? It's going to be kind of confusing. And I think that if they keep all the modulars separate, like, you know how the Steam controller came in its own box? Like, if you just go, okay, I want the $600 or the $800 one that comes with the controller, rather than have it all bundled in one big box, they could have the Steam machines all in their separate boxes and then ship it with a controller.
Well, I mean, their boxes are already cost efficient. They're just regular old cardboard boxes. There's nothing special.
But see, like a lot of these console manufacturers, like Sony and
but
Nintendo,
I'm saying like that, their boxes are going to save them costs on shipping and money. Because think about it, like when you go and buy a PlayStation, you get that colored cardboard box, and it's got all that fucking shit inside of it. You know, with the white. You get an Xbox, and it's all green.
Well, the original Steam controller was blue.
Yeah,
remember that cool blue? It was like a.
But then they changed it. Once the Steam Deck came out, it came in a fucking gray cardboard box that said Steam Deck, right? And then the Steam controller,
like a white gray. Yeah,
Steam controller comes in that fucking box.
You know what's funny is that box actually looks like when I used to buy consoles from GameStop, and they give you the GameStop console and refurbished. It looked like one of those cheap ones. It wasn't the cardboard.
They're saving the costs on that. Speaking of the Steam controller, you've had a few, like a week. A couple of days, something like that.
No, I had it for a week.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on it?
Dude, it's so fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, the cheap feel, I don't get it. I think it feels awesome. It feels like a Steam
It felt
Deck.
comfortable when I was using it.
Dude, so I've played Resident Evil 3 like obsessively for like I beat it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Because you and I have been talking about Resident Evil a lot in this podcast.
Because Resident Evil Requiem is such a good game.
Yes.
And you're playing through the whole franchise to get to Requiem.
Yep. And I played 3 so many times, and I used that controller the whole time.
Yep.
Like, the greatest thing is exactly what I love about an ecosystem that works, like an Apple or whatever. I know that we talk about that, but like anything that works in tandem with each other. Like, I'm playing the Steam controller on my PC. And then I'm like, oh, I should go lay down and get ready for bed. And I grab my Steam Deck, and it's like, dude, it feels exactly the same. It's so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm thinking about it right now. Like, even if I don't have a Steam controller and I got a Steam machine, like I could use just my PlayStation controllers because it'll have Bluetooth. But I'm already reserved. I put myself on the reserve list for it.
Congrats, my friend. That's
I
awesome.
want to buy one because my dad's been really enjoying it, and then you've been enjoying it as much as possible. And it just kind of seems like one of those items that feels comfortable to have. You know what I mean?
Well, the cool thing about the Steam controller is that I think it's as good a quality as a PlayStation controller without the crazy like
advanced features.
Yeah, the luxury features that Sony comes up with. We've talked at length with how we love the PS5 controller.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, on the PC, it doesn't have all the features.
It has it with specific games, like the ones that are PlayStation.
Other PlayStation games, and you have to have it plugged in, is what I was told.
Like, yeah, so
with USB-C.
Space Marine 2, when it released, had the haptic features with it, which it was awesome. And I can't play that game with mouse and keyboard anyway, so I got really comfortable with it with that. And, you know, I remember, too, because, like, for the longest time I sat there and I was like, oh, fucking haptic, who cares, right? And then I got it, and I was playing those games with it, and I was just like, okay, I understand.
It's a cool luxury. It's not a make or break for me. The Steam controller feels like a better version of a standard Xbox controller. The feel of it, like the plastic feel of it.
Which we both have said Xbox controllers are great controllers.
Yes. The only reason why Xbox controllers got dogged on this generation is because Sony came out of the fucking gate with a really good controller.
They fucking hit that hook.
I mean, they, other than the battery life being kind of crappy, hence why I have 3 and you have 3, they're still a fantastic controller.
Well, I have 3 because ease of access, but not because of the. I keep my controllers plugged in. You know.
Nope. This guy just plays until he dies. But no, the Steam controller has been really fun. I've really enjoyed gaming on it, and I think it's worth every bit of the $100. And in fact, my favorite feature is going to be the dumbest feature. I love the little puck on my computer desk, and I can hover the controller about an inch over. It goes click. It just pulls right up the controller. It's the coolest thing in the world. And I'm like,
I've seen people that they have like. You know how like people put their consoles and their controller chargers like on the wall? Like it's going to be really interesting to see how that, because it's a pretty good magnet, and people have hung it on their walls and just literally, and then it's just right there.
It's a really good magnet. I mean, you showed me the Easter egg in the controller where it screams if you drop it.
It does the Wilhelm scream when you drop it.
It's really good.
I mean, dude, they just love fucking around. Those guys at Valve.
Does the Steam Deck have an Easter egg?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think they want you to drop.
No, but
because you would drop a controller for sure. Everybody does it. You know, I'm
not saying like dropping it. I'm saying Easter egg in general. Like
it might somewhere around there for sure. I mean, like I was going to say, Valve, those guys over there, they just love fucking goofing off and just tinkering and making these fun things for people to buy. And that's what makes them very special. Is they're custom made for gamers, and they have things that make gamers feel good when you. Well,
they're mass produced for gamers by gamers.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily custom. It just, I mean, I can see why you'd say custom, but it just feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand.
And I mean, from what I understand too, it's because like their first Steam controller was very experimental with doing no joysticks and just having the touchpads. But then they improved upon it, like you mentioned prior, with the Steam Deck and those pads. And then this is literally just Steam Deck, but,
They actually went on record to say that the worst mistake they ever made with the 2016 controller was not adding a second joystick at a time where it was kind of a necessity to have a dual stick controller. But again, that gave birth to the Steam Deck, and then we got the new Steam controller, and they got it right. I mean, it feels really good in the hands.
Yeah.
I was really worried because I have big hands, and I was really worried about my thumbs whacking together like on the PS5.
I mean, it's a pretty big controller.
But you'd have to be really... The way I hold the controller, my fingers... I mean, I always hate this when you got guys that review stuff and they go, my fingers touch. It's like, you don't game like that, dude.
Well, you're also taking into account that some people just have fucking massive hands.
Well, yeah.
Controllers are going to be different for everybody.
Everybody complained about the Duke controller, but everybody still uses it because they want to play Halo.
Dude, I complained about the Duke controller because my hands are fucking tiny. So I was like 6 with tiny hands, couldn't fucking reach around.
But you wouldn't.
Hey, I fucked around with the mini Duke, okay? Don't even get me started. All right. So I recently looked and I saw this. There was a study done
Okay.
And the study said that 62% of hardcore gamers aren't buying their games at full price. So I kind of wanted to bring this up in topic because we were talking about people wanting to go to physical media, right? And this kind of leads into the same thing. I do it. I think I've also gotten a bunch of you guys to do it as well. Like there's a website that I go to. It's called Instant Gaming. It's run by a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that. They buy the game keys and then they sell it to you for a little cheaper than what it is on the Steam storefront or Xbox or whatever. I prefer doing it that way, mostly because games are fucking expensive. $70 to $80 is expensive.
I think that's the main reason.
Yeah.
It makes the market makes sense, dude. I mean, everybody in the world's getting squeezed for every dollar.
Yeah.
On everything like food and gas, and we've mentioned this before. I mean, honestly, if you're a PC gamer, you're conditioned to waiting each quarter for the Steam sales.
Or you can just sail the 7 seas.
Yep.
And then get it for free.
Yep. I prefer to give developers I like money. And I think you probably feel the same way.
I mean, I've mentioned it so many times. I bought Helldivers 2 12 times.
I mean, at this point,
bought Baldur's Gate 3 14 times.
I've never really pirated any games, but at this point, I would pirate from the big dogs.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys. Yeah, because the small developers don't do that.
No. Well, we mentioned it with Hollow Knight, $20. It was Hollow Knight Silksong, a game that people have been waiting for 7 years, released for $20.
Yep.
And the amount of content you get in that game is almost damn near AAA quality. Well,
the content is what a game should have in it.
Yeah.
I'm okay paying $15 for a game that's 6 hours
early
long.
access or something.
6 hours long or early access. Yeah, totally okay at that. I mean, I'm continuing to play Dusk, and the game isn't very long. Mm-hmm. I'm just getting my ass kicked in a couple of parts, and then I get bored of it for a little bit and have to walk away. But that's me. That's not the game.
I mean, I'm fairly happy spending the $60 I did on Invincible Versus, even knowing that the campaign is like barely even like 3 hours long.
The last time you talked about it, I was thinking about fighting games and their campaigns. Mm-hmm. They're all short. None of them are.
I remember the NetherRealms, like Mortal Kombat, being that short.
They're okay. They may not be an hour, but they're not a 40-hour epic. They're maybe 3 hours because you're getting basically
It's a part of the market for it.
You're getting 10 or 12 fights with cutscenes in between.
Yeah,
but we're fighting games like all the Mortal Kombats. Mm. Most of the time, the content is in the characters they give you.
Yeah,
and
the movesets, and
the cool little extra stuff. Like where you burn up a lot of your time is in that special feature where you run around in first person. And you unlock stuff by fighting, and you go to the little
you talking about the crypts?
Yeah, the crypts, and that's actually pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, I remember with like Mortal Kombat 11, the crypt was a lot more fun.
I fucking loved 11, dude.
11 was fun. I mean,
and I heard 1 wasn't very good, but I heard 11 was
1
or 11 is.
I know 1 is just mostly controversial. I've heard that it's fine for a Mortal Kombat game. I know that people don't like the story mode. And what, like some of the characters' voice acting and shit. But I mean, like, I'm looking at it from an open, trying to look at it from an open mind. They have Conan the Barbarian. They have fucking Omni-Man, Homelander, Peacemaker. They have a lot of really fun character DLCs in it. I just don't want to purchase it because I don't think that they did a good job with the story. And that's where I'm voting for my wallet. When I'm talking about like Invincible Versus, like it was a short, sweet campaign. I had my fun time with it, and now I'm moving on to fighting other people. Like that's what I want when I have like a fucking PvP game, right?
Yep. I'm really enjoying my cigar right now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean it's a fucking delicious cigar, but yeah, I mean,
but that's the point of a fighting game, so dude. Like the story stuff that they added to it, that's all new in the last 10 years. You know, maybe a little bit older, but I mean, back when Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were the thing, it was just you picked your character, you fought.
Yeah.
And it was like there was no extra stuff.
Yeah. And then they started adding it. I think NetherRealms, when they were doing the Mortal Kombat series, was the big push for that because I think they're the ones.
Mortal Kombat 10X was the one that had the.
Well,
I know that was prior to that, but that was
the one that really solidified
that was like
it.
The crazy graphics.
I think the first one that did it was Injustice 1 and 2 that had those crazy campaigns.
Yeah, Injustice is. I think that's where they got the idea from.
Injustice is also. I played Injustice 2 for like a fucking good minute there, and I was having real fun playing Batman and beating the shit out of people. It was awesome, but those games.
I never played them, but they always look so good.
Those games also had a lot of like RPG mechanics, like 11 and Mortal Kombat 1 does, where you can get like different cosmetics for the characters and customize them and have like stats and shit with it. But then they have like the regular PvP modes. That
is it kind of like a loadout? That kind of
yeah. So like I know 11 has the loadouts where you can actually change move sets per character.
Yes. Yep.
Like with Scorpion, my guy, I fucking love Scorpion. You can
Sub-Zero.
You can literally have a katana that like lights on fire. You can either choose that or the fucking chain to get over here, or to do like I think it was like a kick or something. But those were only 3 things that you could change his moveset to. But all of the like pieces and stuff, it would add like a statistic buff. So it'd be like, oh, this mask is a legendary mask. It adds 12% more damage for whatever, shit like that. But on PvP modes, it got rid of the stats.
It was just basic fighting.
Yeah, so that it wasn't unfair. You're going into rank and you
totally cool. I
mean, I mean, and to go back on the topic, like gamers are going to find ways to make it fucking cheap as shit. It doesn't matter whether or not you're a big company or not. They're going to try to get it on a discount price.
They'll either not support it.
Yeah.
Or we have so many games at our disposal,
and a lot of good ones too.
You're
especially
right.
Today.
I mean, I've been gaming on my PC for the last year, and I've been hanging out with you on Steam and your dad, and you'd be like, "Bro, I just bought you a game. It's in your library. Let's play." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "This game looks retarded." And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "This game is a fucking blast. When are we going again?" So, like, and then, of course, I get the dumb ones where I'm like, let's go kill ghosts, and then,
hey, but I mean, all of those games have a purpose, right? They're all fun in their own way.
Concur.
So, we wanted to talk about Borderlands, because I think that's one of our favorite franchises, right? I love Borderlands 1 and 2.
Those are my favorites.
Borderlands 3 was fine. Other than the story, the gameplay was really good. It was really hard to go back to 2 after a while of playing 3.
I've heard that 4 has good gameplay.
4 has good. They are good game designers, like front down gameplay. They've got it down. I think the biggest problem with specifically Borderlands comes down to the narrative choices, the character designs, and the characters, and
their fucking CEO's a dick.
That too, and then their design aspect for loot gameplay. Like, you remember playing like Borderlands 1 and 2 and you felt special getting a legendary gun, right? And then they released 3 and then you were getting legendaries like fucking front, left, and center, and it really shut it out because you would get this badass legendary gun and then 3 levels later it's useless, and that was definitely my problem. And I do play games on harder difficulties, I know, but when you go back and you play Borderlands 1 and 2, it felt more... What's the word here?
You were rocking... I mean, in Borderlands 1 and 2, you were rocking blue and orange guns.
You be gray guns or green guns?
Green over the orange and the...
For the most part.
And the purple.
And sometimes those guns were even cooler than the legendary guns.
They just helped you at specific points. I mean, I had a couple shotguns that were... I mean, I got legendary shotguns, and I'm like, yeah, this is great, but this one just does the job.
I mean, and to be fair, too, their designs for weapons hasn't changed a bit. Like, they're still it's still the best gun porn.
Have you played 4?
No. Okay. I've just seen gameplay.
I've only seen gameplay myself.
Yeah. I played a lot of 3, though.
I mean, when that CEO came out and said you'd just buy a better PC, I was like, oh, okay, from the guy that makes all of his money and has all of his yachts and his Bugattis, from people like you and me that are fucking, regular people, and you're telling me, well, if you can't play Borderlands 4, you better just get a better PC. It's like, hey, why don't you take some of that $1 billion and give me a PC for that then?
How about you optimize? Oh, wait, you're running Unreal Engine. That's why you can't optimize.
Is it running Unreal Engine?
They've been running Unreal Engine. Dude, Borderlands 2 was Unreal Engine.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was Unreal Engine 3. Yeah.
I have respect for that engine, though.
Unreal Engine 3 did a lot of bangers. They did Gears of War games. They did fucking Unreal Engine games. They did Borderlands games. I mean, like, say what you want about Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal Engine 3 and 4, they kicked ass. They did a lot. That engine was very, 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 very well done.
I had nothing against Epic and their Unreal Engine until 5.
Yeah,
until they
were pushing for the trinite triangles
stuff.
And the fucking ray tracing and the lumen.
Because when it very first was announced and they showed like a PS5 demo of this girl in a cave,
yep,
and everybody saw that, and I was like, this looks freaking amazing,
insane.
But of course, that's not running on a PS5. They said it's running on a PS5. I'm like, and then we get it
was on a computer.
Then we get Forspoken. Junk.
Well, that was Square Enix. I don't think that was Unreal.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that's the game that looks like some girl running around
Yeah, that's a game that we'll have to talk about eventually. But yeah, I mean, I miss Borderlands.
I'm done speaking about it.
I miss Borderlands. I miss the times when you would come home, you'd boot up the Borderlands game, and you would have just like a good time with buddies. Granted, I played it a lot by myself because I didn't have a whole lot of people that would play Borderlands with me.
I had a couple friends that I play it with, but
I had friends that played Borderlands 3 with me, but we went back and replayed 2. But when 2 first came out, it was exclusively me.
Oh, dude, Claptrap was one of my favorite characters.
And the fact that they fucking didn't even have him in the 3rd and the 4th game still pisses me off.
What?
The voice actor for Claptrap? Yeah, he wasn't in the 3rd or the 4th game.
Was Claptrap in it?
Yeah, but it wasn't the same voice actor. And that was because him and the director, Mr. something Ford.
Pickford or whatever.
Yeah, they got into like a bunch of arguments and said some shit on Twitter or something, so then they kicked him out of the 3rd and 4th game. Yeah.
I have no comment. Dude, I used to love like when I'd run through was it Sanctuary?
Mm-hmm.
That's that. And you hear, and I'm like, dude, like, even though it sounds so stupid, but I just sit there and stare. I'm doing the dance. He goes, look at my moves, and I'm like, I just be laughing, and my wife's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, don't worry about it. I really wanted to Claptrap.
Well, Claptrap brought a good character charm to the Borderlands franchise. Like, as much as like everybody talks about Handsome Jack, like, there's a reason why Claptrap was always the opening
Jack
phase.
was just a really good bad guy.
He was just a really good character.
Yeah,
really good character.
Really good character. I mean, you wanted to hate, you hated him.
Yeah, but you loved hating him.
Yes, because he'd say, because some of the recordings.
I named my crystal horse, my crystal unicorn after you. Here, come here, butt stallion. Yep. Come here. So funny, butt stallion. Like,
but yeah, the last 2 I kind of checked out. And I haven't played them. Like I said, I may have just gotten burned out and needed to take some time.
I would be interested to play 4. I still kind of am, but I think it's still at full price, and I won't pay full price for it.
I will not pay full price for Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
Not even a deal.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to like franchises, because we're talking about Borderlands. We're on Forza 6 now. And it's released a little while ago.
Is it? I thought it was early access right now, or pre-release. I think it's May 20th or something.
I think it's
no.
out.
I don't think it's out yet, bud.
Okay.
I'll look it up right now. Oh, you are correct. It's available right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. I did not mean. I thought I was looking at it a couple days ago. May 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
It's okay. It happens. Forza 6 is out, and I've played Forza 4 when I was doing Game Pass, and it was available, and I was like, I want to play a racing game. I want to play a car game. And I enjoyed 4, and I played it with my friend, and we enjoyed just goofing off, making stupid cars.
Did 4 come out on the Xbox that's out right now, or the one before it?
I think both.
Okay, so so 4 was like the transition from the older Xbox to the newest one?
Yeah.
So I played Forza 4 on the Xbox One, and I also really enjoyed it. When Forza 5 came out, I waited a little bit, and I have it on my PS5, but I'm no longer playing my PS5, so I might have to. So I might get 6 just because it's in Japan this time.
Yes,
and it looks really cool because I liked the open world aspect of Forza and the cool, driving to a spot and getting I just thought that the Mexico landscape was kind of boring with the desert everywhere because there were some really cool jungle races that I thought were really, really neat in Aztec area. Like you jumping over Aztec, but like
from what I've heard, like the Forza selected races are some of the best. Like it's the good old Forza races with like interesting views and
Forza
stuff.
5 is a good game. I didn't put a lot of time into it because, like I said, I bought
it. Had a lot of really awesome tech for car. Like the fucking. I remember they were showcasing like the water droplets on the car and like zooming into it and shit.
The one thing I did notice though is one of my friend's sons came over and he leveled up my guy. He played online forever and was over at our house for like 4 hours and he got me a bunch of stuff. And so I went online.
And to be fair, the game makes it very easy to just get cars and level up.
And so I was playing it and I was driving a Ford Mustang that he had gotten all the way like leveled up, whatever. And the only thing that really bothered me about it is as I was going like 200 miles an hour and I went off this hill as a jump and I went so high in the air that like squares of the level were popping in, and I'm like, really, guys? Like, this is where we're at right now?
Well, to be fair, too, that was kind of a big complaint with 5 was it was pretty unoptimized for a lot of the time there, and I think that's also another Unreal Engine 5 game as well when they were making that. But I mean, like,
I'd be curious to play 6.
I'm curious. I want to play I've been playing Most Wanted. I have a bunch of mods.
Speed?
Yeah,
I love that game.
Oh, dude. Still,
it's a classic.
Still, like the best racing game in my opinion.
It was a banger when it came out, and it's a classic now.
Yeah, I've been playing that off and on for months now, and I have a mod that like updates the textures, models, graphic. Like it's a pretty damn beautiful game right now. And when you hit 200 miles per hour, that game makes you fucking feel it. It feels so good.
Fast.
You feel like you're in a death machine. You're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it around this corner here in a second.
Well, Need for Speed just bounce off the wall. And keep going.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's still like it's effective, right? And I hold my bar feeling wise towards that game. So like, if Forza gives me vibes when I'm driving around, I'm having a good time, I'm driving these fucking cool ass cars, and it gives me vibes of like, okay, this is giving me some Most Wanted.
I wish that they would have a demo because of how much.
Well, that's just
well, no, because if they had a demo where I could play it and just see how the graphics look and see how the gameplay feels, I'd be a little more willing to give the $70+. But I'm not going to go through my Steam account and buy it for $70.
Speaking of Steam,
and then try to return it.
Speaking of Steam, with this is real quick. Did you hear about the guy that like ordered a Steam controller in like some other third world country, and the Steam controller showed up somewhere else? So he contacted Steam support.
It showed up in Russia, and it needed to go to Turkey.
And Steam support literally was like, "We're so sorry for the inconvenience. Name one game you want to have in your Steam library." And he said Forza 6, and literally had Forza 6 in his library
because they take care of you.
I know, dude. It's just
they didn't have to do that.
It's so cool.
They literally just said, "Hey, buy a game."
Yeah, that's just so cool. And the fact that they did it with like a brand new game too, they were just like, yeah, here you go. Sorry.
Well, they want their customers to be happy.
Yeah.
They knew that customer wanted their controller, and you know what's even crazier? I read that same story. It wasn't even Valve's fault.
Nope.
It was the carrier's fault. And they didn't even say, "Oh, you got to talk to the carrier." They said, "Okay, we'll send you a new one, or we'll get it fixed."
Yeah.
They got it back, and they just said, "Here's a free game."
Yep.
Dude, I would have let them lose my controller for a day so I could get a free game. But that's just cool they did that. Like I did read that story. That's a very cool story.
Yeah. I mean, to go back on Forza though, like I'm very interested in buying it. I want to buy it and I want to play it because I want to play another racing game right now. But I've also been playing like Need for Speed Shift on my Steam Deck, and then Need for Speed Most Wanted.
I need to do that. I need to go buy some
Need for Speed Shift on the Steam Deck is really good, actually.
I need to play some old Need for Speeds on Steam Deck.
Really good. I've been playing it for a little minute here, and it's honestly just sitting on my bed, fucking doing the racing and stuff. Like, it's a little challenging sometimes, but I think that's just because the game gets challenging the more you go on.
Well, it's also nice for a racing game to have a bigger screen.
Yeah,
but the smaller screen, you got to be a little.
Well,
more,
I mean,
you can't be tired.
I can't race in third person in that game. I have to race in first person. I don't know why. That's like the only.
That's been a point of contention for a lot of people. I mean, that's the main reason why they have so many different views. I like the third person view. I do not like first person unless I can get into the cockpit and there's a hood.
Like the actual.
I need a point of, like, for me, it's like driving a car. I need a point of center in the car so I can see. Because when you're driving a car, you feel the motion of the vehicle, and you're racing a game, you don't feel any of that. So you need visual stimuli to make the good moves. So when you have the car in center of the screen, you're rotating. You can kind of judge the corner by where the car's sitting.
Right.
For my brain, some people need the whole screen. Like how that's probably exactly what you're doing. You get the whole screen in front of you, tracks right there, and you're using the center of your monitor as a point of, this is how I'm going to turn, because it's just like driving, except like you said, in a car, you could feel your
yeah, you know where you're going with it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed Shift is also one of those games I feel we should talk about the whole Need for Speed franchise at some point.
Absolutely. But going back to Forza, though, because we can go off topic on all the games
Fair point.
I've seen like 3 or 4 trailers and some gameplay demos on, not demos, people playing it, and there's a really beautiful scene that they show off where it's like a wheel scene where they show the car turning, it's drifting around the corner, and there's all those cherry petals and the rain and the reflections, and it looks unreal.
Forza 5
or 6.
Forza 5 had really impressive graphics, and I think they just kind of took the same thing, upped it a little bit with this one, and said, "Here we go. Here's a very optimized, well done Forza game. Enjoy."
Did you ever play any of the original Colin McRae Rally games?
Mm-mm.
So if you get an opportunity, I know that we're going off of talking about Forza, but racing games are fun to talk about. If you go onto Steam or you go onto a place like Good Old Games, Colin McRae Rally 2, I had that on my PS2, I think. Mm-hmm. Dude, that game was so addicting. And they eventually turned into Dirt, the series Dirt.
Oh, really? I played Dirt. Yeah, on the PlayStation
Colin McRae
3.
died in a helicopter crash. He's one of the best rally racers. He drove for Team Ford. He had the Focus.
I think rally racing, and I think about like how they literally have layers in their visors that they have to rip off because the mud will just get stuck on, and they literally just rip it. Like that, that would stress me the fuck out.
Well, I mean, also think about you're driving down these roads with nature all over you. There's no control, right?
Yeah.
And you have a co-driver that's telling you the severity of the corner. Mm-hmm. 3 left into 4 right into incline this. And he's having to hear this guy, well, going 90 to 100 miles an hour in a car the size of a Ford Focus.
My best friend really loves rally racing, and like that's her thing.
It's my favorite real racing. Mm-hmm. I love F1. I love
because that's also the one where the dudes are literally like on the edge. And there's just
I used to watch a lot of motorsports back in the day, and on Speed Vision they used to have rally legs of rally tours like in Greece, and and you could watch the whole thing. I watched a Mitsubishi Evolution come around a corner, hit a rut, tumble roll, like widthwise, and over people. The people got up because they were in the mud, and they rolled the rally guy over so he can continue racing. Now that is a fan.
That's crazy.
and I'm like, only in Europe, dude, are those crazies getting run over by a car just to help the driver get back up because they want to see their favorite guy win.
I probably wouldn't do that shit because that
I would totally go to rally.
Yeah?
I would, 100%.
I would just be afraid to get hit. Yeah, I know they're professionals, but like,
half
dude.
Those people that are watching are probably 6 beers in. If we go in and we get 6 beers in, my friend, we ain't going to feel that till the next day. I think
that would be a fun.
I think it'd be killer.
That would be a fun thing for us to do on the podcast. Is try to go to a rally race. That would be really fun for sure.
I would love that shit.
All right, few games released. We'll start with the first one. So we enjoy friend slop games, couch co-op, or not couch co-op, but co-op games where you and your buddies get together and go do shit. So there's this one called Far Far West. It recently just released. It is a 4-player co-op, Western style, kind of sci-fi future-ish kind of game where you're playing as 4 like robo cowboys, and you get like spells and guns, and it's a roguelike, so you're going in these dungeons and fighting a bunch of these dudes. What did you think of the trailer?
So remember the game on PlayStation called Medieval?
Yeah.
It had that vibe. Like that cartoony.
I could see it.
It wasn't like they weren't stealing the game, but the art style reminded me of like that cartoony, goofy.
I think just seeing a fucking saloon as a boss fight, like not a person, a fucking building spinning around.
I was generally I was pleasantly surprised with the trailer. Like you said, it's a roguelike, so I'm interested in that as well. Mm-hmm. I'd be keen to pick it up, and we can jam on it.
It's $20, dude. Fucking $40. That's 2 people right there. They can go. And have a good time.
If it runs on my Steam Deck, dude, guess what? I can go when I go on my trip.
It runs on your Steam Deck.
So when I go on my trip this weekend to over to my uncle's house, I could probably log it in, and we could try to jam out.
Fuck yeah.
So that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I want to get it. My friends already said that it's fucking awesome. It's really fun, and I already remember back when it was like announced and like showcased in the game trailers and stuff. I was like, that looks like a really fun game. And there's just something about, I don't know why this era, like 2025 and 2026, it's just these friend slop games, right? We've been getting fucking bangers after bangers after bangers of just 4-player co-op online games.
I know that I'm the older man here, but when you say friend slop, to me it reminds me of just the games that were back in the day, because games were just like gaming has evolved, right?
Yeah,
but what we're talking about in this game was very similar to a lot of cooperative games that were out on the PlayStation 1
Army
and
of 2.
There were just games that were all about playing a campaign or playing a run and enjoying yourself with your friends and laughing about it, and then all you want to do after you're done
is do it again.
And that's the whole point of gaming is playing games over again. Like I know I brought up Resident Evil 3, and you were the first one to tell me this. It's a short game. I mean, you can beat it in 3 hours.
Yeah,
and I know I've said this in this podcast. I probably beat that game 3 times. The remake. I beat the first one like twice because I wanted to see if you could get the same effect as in Resident Evil 2, but it didn't have that. I was disappointed back then, where you could change the story, you know. But I fell in love with Carlos' character in the second game or in the third game in the remake, and I've generally enjoyed myself playing that game over and over again because I've never really been one of those guys in the remakes to go through and beat a game and then realize you've earned points and then buy stuff in the store to help the second run through of the game.
That's how 9 is too.
Yeah. And so,
because you can literally just unlock infinite ammo, infinite
and you can do that in 2
dexterity.
as well. But I never took advantage of it. And in 3,
I did. I chose not. I could have for my insanity run. I didn't.
Right.
And I'm very glad that I didn't because I have the experience that I had with that game now. But like, I kind of want to go back and play through it with infinite ammo.
I have some of the buffs in the game where that make the game a little bit easier. For instance, like there's a crafting material.
And let's be honest. I know I'm interrupting, but like let's be honest too. Let's thank that Capcom allows you to do that because most of the time, right, a game will be like, oh, you've got infinite ammo. You can do it on your new game plus route, right? Like the fact that they can just allow people to infinite ammo on Insanity Run, like right as you unlock it, you can just play it.
Well,
it's
people like you that have beat it on Insanity mode typically haven't earned enough points to get all the cool shit.
No,
right
you do.
away.
You earn it like halfway through the second run through.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the more I'm playing 3, the more I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it up to the harder difficulty.
Yeah.
I definitely want to earn some more of the cool weapons. There are a couple of weapons that I want to earn that are like 60,000 points. But generally speaking, I really enjoyed the story. Jill, dude, she's the shit. Like,
I don't think anybody ever complained about Jill. It was mostly just the scripted sequences.
Even then, it was cool. Nemesis is a cool character, dude.
Yeah,
like he was a dick. I mean, he or it or whatever. Seriously,
I feel like I
could have killed you like 8 times.
Yeah,
and chose to toy with you. And I don't know if that was because I know that he is controlled by somebody else. And he's basically like an organic android, like controlled by somebody else. And I have to guess that's got to be Wesker messing with her because they were team players in Resident Evil 1.
Yeah,
and he obviously gets enhanced.
Is that also like right after 3 is when Wesker takes her, and then it goes to 5?
No, so essentially 2 and 3 play at the same exact time.
Right.
And then
after 3
after 3
after technically in the timeline.
After 3 she joins up with that special forces with Chris. The
one that
version.
he's in like 5, but it's she's
and I think the events of 5 take place during 4 when Leon's over in that European town
in Costa Mexico or something.
Yeah, and then I think it's like Spain or something.
Something like. And they speak Spanish.
It's definitely in Europe.
They speak Spanish,
yes,
but
I think it's
Spain probably.
Europe.
Yeah,
but in 5 takes place
because we always call Colelo.
Golelo.
Yeah, a guy.
Such a good game.
Un parastero.
I love that game so much. But I would hope that they would remake 5 eventually.
I do too.
And I hope that they do it.
Even if we've said it's unnecessary, I do kind of want to have updated 5.
They've done them all so far, all the good ones.
Right.
And at this point, I'm so Resident Evil sold that
you're just like, I don't care, just give it to me.
Just give me 5.
Yeah.
Remake 6 if you have to. I don't know if they're going to, but since Leon is on the high horse right now, because everybody loves Leon.
Everybody loves Leon.
I mean, we as gamers love Leon from 4 and 2. Let's be honest with ourselves. 6 has brought, or 9 has brought him into like the mainstream, and you and I are like, bitch, He's been our boy for 20 years.
Bitch, motherfucker was in Raccoon City day one.
Yep. And like we said, I love the story that the reason why he didn't start the same day as everybody else is he was drunk and got broken up with. Such a cool story. But anyways, like you're saying,
co-op slot games.
Co-op slot games are just fun to play, and I could talk about single player experiences because I know there's a lot of listeners that probably want to play
single player games.
But if you have a couple group of friends that you can have the same schedule as you, that you can get online and jam out and play some games.
Play some Far Far West.
Especially with that, I think Far Far West would be a fun one because you don't have to take it super seriously where you have to jam out for like 12 hours.
It's not a grind. It's just about having fun.
You can get on, I got an hour before I go to bed and the kids are put away or I got to go to work the next day. And you're like, hey, you got an hour to play a game? Yeah, let's go. Fuck it. And then, I would rather leave a game lobby going, I really don't want to leave, than being like, man, I really got to wrap this up.
Yeah, I get you. So then there's another game. I don't think you've played it, and I think you should, which released, and it's Subnautica 2. Now, Subnautica 2 has become like the most successful game. It sold 2 million copies within a week, I think it was, or like 2 days.
The first one is really good.
The first one is so fucking good.
Like,
I've heard
I got
that
like 12 hours into it.
I've heard that 2 is even better.
Does 2 have co-op?
Yeah.
Oh.
So 2 has 4-player co-op, which is another reason why I wanted to play it with you so that we can do it together, and even
What's
Dad
the price
too.
For it now?
Let me look.
Because the first one was $30.
Yeah, I think this one. Stop. Let me do this really quick. Yeah, so looking it up, Subnautica 2 is $26.99. It's on a 10% discount. I don't know. It says that for the bundle, or is that it says buy Subnautica for the Deep Ocean bundle, $26.99, and then the actual price is $30. I'm confused. I don't know. It might just be some Steam being like, oh, you won the first game, so Wait. Hold on. 2 of these items are already in your library. Buy this bundle and save 10. Oh, so it's probably the first game and the second game with the expansion Sub-Zero, and then they're like, hey, buy the whole franchise in the bundle, but you'll also get the second game. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's been $5 more.
Dude, you can fucking buy fucking Subnautica 1 for $8 right now. That's such a good price. Oh my god. Anyways, so a little off topic, but Subnautica 2, like it's so far from what I've heard, everybody is really, really loving it, and they're saying that it's even better than the first game. And I'm interested in buying it because I remember for the longest time I was like, that's going to be a fun game. Now, we have a little controversy at least for the two of us. So they're talking about violence in the game, and the Subnautica 2 devs are trying to push players towards non-violence in the sequel. In quotation marks, they say that they feel very strongly about it. Now, it is a survival game, and I think you said it earlier, like, in a survival setting, violence is bound to happen, right? And I'm trying to rationalize it in my head because Subnautica was never very violent in the first game. It honestly kept itself pretty tame. Like, the most violent part was that you put stasis on enemies to scan them for however long it was. But the most violent part is that you had a knife, but, like, it didn't kill anything. It just deterred predators from trying to come and eat your asshole. So I don't know what they're talking about in terms of violence in this game, but...
You're welcome. I just bought Subnautica 2.
I have to wait, but I'll try to pick it up. But I don't know. Like, what are you...
My thoughts are, I think it's a... I understand they're trying to have this peaceful thing, but... in the world that we as humans base our everything off of.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's science fiction and you're in a different world when you're swimming in the ocean and you're swimming with your character. Animals are animals. So if they base it off of realism but they put it in a fantasy kind of world. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have to go into the ocean and kill a shark if you don't have to, because obviously they're vital to our ecosystem.
Creatures. They're just peaceful
creatures. But if
creatures.
you're going to swim out in the ocean, which is basically the space on Earth,
yeah.
Okay, you're going to have creatures that are doing what creatures do. They hunt, they eat, they procreate, and they swim around.
Yeah.
Okay, violence is inevitable. If you're out in the woods and you hold up a peace sign to a grizzly bear, that grizzly bear is going to be like, well, that looks delicious. Mm-hmm. They don't give a shit. And I'm not advocating for just killing, go out and just kill a bear for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But if your character is out in the wild because you're out there and you want to explore the world,
yeah,
there's danger.
Which is what they do. You know, they all pretty much, like in Subnautica, the lore, when they're going to other planets, they go to for science. They go to explore and research creatures and habitats and things like that, which I totally understand. But I mean, at the same time,
it sounds like the developers don't understand how the world works.
Wasn't there like a movie or something that had like scientists that just didn't have any security and they just kept like dying or something like that?
Don't remember, dude.
I feel like there was something. Somebody in the comments, see if they can tell me about it, because I can't remember.
The idea, it's okay.
You're already unsuccessful if you have no way to deter creatures away from you. And what's more scary than a fucking gun? I mean, let's be real here.
I mean, an animal doesn't know what a gun is.
But they hear a big sound and they're going to run away.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for a grizzly bear.
In Days Gone, there are scenes, and this is not... I mean, this is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
In Days Gone, when you're doing the infiltration missions and there's the scientists that are studying the freakers
mm-hmm.
in that game, the scientists don't have guns.
But they have security teams.
But they have security teams that will kill you on sight.
Yeah.
So even Days Gone understood that they are out there for one thing only. We study these infected,
mm-hmm.
but those people are important.
We need to keep them. Yeah.
Yes. So that... In Subnautica, you are a science person trying to study things, but things don't always... You know, when humans were out in the wild and we were like cavemen,
mm-hmm.
and you saw a venomous spider and you're like, what's that? And it bit you and that person dies. You know, hey, maybe that fucking thing, don't touch it.
Hey, man, that guy's yellow. Don't touch it.
Right. And so I understand that they're trying to have this like exploration kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't come down on gamers or
yeah, it does feel kind of like you naughty violent gamers, stop being violent, you know, instead of it being just like we want to just keep it the way it is.
They could easily just do it where you get penalized for killing things. Like
I would hate that.
No, I mean, like you don't get as much information if you don't capture it or whatever. You can still defend yourself. Like say you're trying to capture a certain fish and they're an aggressive fish in that game,
mm-hmm.
and one's attacking you, can stab that one and go, get the hell off me, and then that one could be food, and you're not going to get any.
Yeah, and then like that's another thing too is like if you're non-violent, how else are you going to eat? Is there just going to be like a 3D printer that just prints you fucking soup?
Marine biologists that study sharks are in gigantic cages. And why is that? Because it's a murder torpedo with teeth. They're prehistoric creatures.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay? They are there to eat and survive. Okay? They're them eating and hunting you, that's what they know.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't know, oh, this person's going to study me and put a little tracker on me and want to know where the hell I'm going.
Right.
They go, you wiggle around in my little ocean. I'm gonna munch on you because I need to eat.
Well, yeah, their first instinct is like, what is that? And then they look at you to try to see if you're something that is edible. And typically they don't, like sharks exclusively don't look at humans and just be like, that's food. They typically don't want to do anything with us.
Yeah, but it still doesn't.
But if there's blood in the water,
it still doesn't stop a shark from going, that doesn't look very tasty, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, when they do that. Right, like that is just their curiosity.
Humans are the little Dixie cups at Costco. The samples to see if you like it or not. You know what I mean? To a great white shark. But I don't like the idea that they're coming down on the gamers for being violent if they're going to attack a shark or attack, because they're not necessarily exact replicas of the creatures that we know on planet
but they're
Earth.
Similar.
But they're definitely they have a shark-like creature. Mm-hmm. They have an octopus creature. They have the kraken or whatever.
Dude, that thing is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and for me, it just seems like it's kind of a moot point. You're always going to have friction in something.
Now I'm thinking about it in like the aspect of survival games because I love survival games, and one of my favorite survival game franchises is The Forest.
Yep.
Forest and Sons of the Forest. Now they have the Forest 3 coming out, which is exciting because it's going to be completely on an alien world. Mm-hmm. You're not on Earth anymore or on like an island or whatever. You're on an alien fucking planet, and you get this like crazy fucking robot arm, and you're going to have to use violence, not only because there's crazy ass alien mutant fucking creatures on that planet, but
right.
To survive and keep yourself alive on that planet, yeah, you need to have some sort of violence to it,
exactly.
I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel like it's politics. You know, like it just kind of reminds me of like the conversation with like gun violence and shit. And I'm just like, let's just move on from it. But, but you know, yeah, I don't know.
I don't like the idea they're telling us not to. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I still bought the game. I mean, I literally bought it.
It's a good game. I think it's still going to be a good game, even if there's violence. I mean, I don't think because it's not really a violent game. It's never been about violence. You know, the story's always been about an infection and like how you're going to handle with it. In the first game, at least, the second game changed it to the alien race that you experienced. But moving on to the last part for the Digital Underground that we have today, Amazon. Excuse me, I didn't know this, but apparently they had a Lord of the Rings MMO coming out. But they said that they're going to cancel it and start changing it to into a different direction. Now, I want to know your opinion on whether or not, like Lord of the Rings MMO, like when you hear that,
Didn't they have one?
No,
I think you're wrong. I think they had an MMO, Lord of the Rings MMO, a long time ago.
I know that they had a couple of games tied in with the movies.
Yeah,
but I don't think they were MMOs. We can look it up here in a second. There is Lord of the Rings Online.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, that's what I'm talking about. But that's neither here nor there. I don't trust Amazon to deliver my packages, let alone play a game.
I mean, I've also heard that New World, their first game for
that game's canceled.
Yeah, now, and it wasn't because I've heard people enjoyed that game a lot.
Listen, I don't trust anything Amazon does. Like I said 5 seconds ago, I don't even trust them to deliver my packages. Mm-hmm. Like, Amazon has so much money. So much money. Mm-hmm. They could make Marathon work with the much money they have. Mm. They could have 3 players playing for 25 years and still make that game run and not worry about money lost as much as they charge us for our Amazon Prime account and upping the prices on items when they say we're getting a deal.
Yeah, like upselling and stuff.
Yeah. And so fuck them. I don't care. And they shouldn't. The fact that they have the Lord of the Rings at all is as a travesty. Thank gods that the Lord of the Rings movies came out before they got their gruddy hands on it. Mm. You know, because they turned the Rings of Power into a woke mess. I know we're talking about a TV show, but I don't trust them to make the video game any better.
Well, I think this is also a good segue to the movie sections as well. But I mean, you're 100% right in it being kind of for me, like when I first read that, I was like, they had an MMO coming out, and then I was like, okay, New World did get shut down, but it was an enjoyable experience for a lot of people, and it was a good MMO. It went through some rough patches here and there.
I think a buddy of mine was playing it when it very first came out. Mm-hmm. It was called the New World something, right? It had like another name.
I think it was just called a New World.
I think it had a subtitle underneath it.
They had like expansions to it that did that stuff, but I'm pretty sure the title of it.
World of Warcraft, like Blizzard doesn't have a quarter of the money that Amazon has, and still World of Warcraft has evolved and like kind of like to complement or to tag on to what you said about Helldivers. Mm-hmm. It's like there's certain expansions where you're like, yeah, we're so fucking
it's peak,
there,
and then
they ruin it and they
It's so funny that you say that because I feel like a lot of people just shit on World of Warcraft, especially like because a lot of people play Legacy instead of the newer version of Warcraft.
I really enjoyed World of Warcraft. Like I really enjoyed even the grinding was fun.
Yeah. Well, it's set the standard for MMO grinding for sure.
And I generally liked the world of War, like actually
the art style, the characters, the world, the mounts, the armor.
And that game is still going strong today.
I've never really put too much effort into World of Warcraft. I've thought about it every once in a while. I just haven't done it, and then mostly just comes down to the same thing of like I don't want to pay for the subscription.
Yeah,
you know, if it was, which I know that there's people out there that run their own custom servers that are free like that, but you still have to purchase the game or whatever. And I honestly I already have such a hard time with MMOs.
So the problem with MMOs, especially for gamers like you and me, is there's not enough time in the day for us to play those games, because
especially with like raids and shit like that.
Well, if you really want to get into the meat and potatoes of that game, That's the only game. That's why for me, whenever, like I know your dad didn't like saying he paid for it, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're a gamer who only plays one game, like if you could put aside your Steam collection, PlayStation collection, Xbox collection, and say, I'm going to dedicate all of my gaming time to one game, $77 isn't that big a deal for a 6-month subscription, because that's the price of a game nowadays. And there's a shit ton of content for that game. But anyways, I fuck Amazon. Fuck Lord of the Rings in their possession, not the actual canon and not the actual movies.
We love Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings trilogy is we've probably.
I even love the Hobbit trilogy.
I don't even know if we talked about it that much, but there are. That's like the peak of cinema, in my opinion, with some things.
Even Nolan's Batmans that everybody loved don't even come close.
Yeah,
I think that Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, all three of them. I know we're talking about Lord of the Rings, the game, but the movies were probably the best trilogy in history. It's almost like Lord of the Rings is like the Odyssey of film.
I would agree.
When it comes to like these stories are perfect.
Even knowing that like some people keep complaining to me about Frodo being a bitch, and I'm like, guys, he literally had evil in his body every fucking day.
Frodo wasn't a badass character, but he had the baddest characters backing him up.
Yeah.
And that's all you
what
needed.
I'm saying, so like, for instance, I don't want to out them because I don't want to do that, but people close to me, right, we talk about it all the time. They just call Frodo a bitch. Just outright said that he's a little crybaby bitch. And I'm literally arguing it. Even my dad does this too. I argue against them. I'm like, guys, you're just a peaceful hobbit. You try having the most evil of evil fucking things in your brain, in your body, all the time.
It radiates evil out of it. You can have he had it in his pocket.
He had it on a chain on his neck.
I know, but he had it in his
pocket.
pocket.
And then he had it in his pocket the first time.
And that thing got to him through the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, look what I did to Gollum, for God's sakes. But anyways, let's move on.
We could talk, so we'll talk about this more because this is an important topic, but we're going to start moving this over towards that discussion. We're going to move over towards the back alley theater, but before we do that,
let's order a drink, Kayman.
All right. Well, what's the drinks on the menu today?
Santa Teresa and 1792 rum, my friend.
Rum again.
Wow, that sat in that ice cube perfectly. Yes, sir.
It's so good when you have good alcohol mixed with a cigar.
Yep. Yes.
All right.
That's delicious.
We're on the back alley theater. I want to finish this discussion in terms of this because I feel like it's a little important. And we can talk about Lord of the Rings as a whole franchise eventually.
Yep.
But it frustrates me when somebody says that this character's a little crybaby bitch. Right, like they said that about Tom Holland's Spider-Man with the last film, No Way Home. I argue so hard with crybaby bitch characters, even if they're men. Right, it's that stigma of like, oh, men can't cry, and that's 100% the problem. And people are pushing that stigma against these characters when they have some of the most darkest things going on. And like, dude, Spider-Man lost his aunt in that movie. He lost his aunt, he lost his friends, he lost his family, he lost everybody and chose to be alone when everybody forgot him, who he was. And you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that he's a crybaby bitch because he lost everything? Okay, well, let's see how you would lose everything.
Those are the same people that cried when Iron Man died, dude. I mean,
I cried when Iron Man died.
What I'm saying is that they're the ones at the end of Endgame going, and it's like, yeah, dude, well.
But that's also a difference in terms of like, self-sacrifice versus not self-discipline, but like.
Well, I mean, hold on. Spider-Man did self-sacrifice.
True.
Because at the end he chose to walk away and let the people he cared about not be in danger now because he's a danger because the evil guys that come after him.
That's exactly it.
And that's still self-sacrifice. It's just the difference is he doesn't get to die and go away. He has to live with it.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
I mean, we're talking about Frodo. I mean, Frodo literally
he had to live with that shit for what was it, like years?
I think it was like I think they said it was like a year and a half to 2 years. But
for the whole tale. Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you have a ring that the evil master of the entire realm. Like, the entire world had to go against him, right?
Yeah. The entirety of Middle Earth.
He had a ring that had Wi-Fi 7, And he could remote into everybody's other rings and control them. That was the whole point of the rings of power.
Yeah.
Is that they gave you this great power, but he had all the control. And Frodo had that shit on his neck and had to walk, miles and miles and miles.
Yep.
To get to
Mordor,
and without the help of friends,
Mount Doom.
without
the help of Samwise Gamgee,
his whole friends group.
But to be fair, Samwise Gamgee
he helped
was the MVP,
and Gollum was too.
True,
because Gollum was the failed original.
It would be Stryker, which was Aragorn. Yeah, was his guide. Same thing with Gandalf. Yep. Gandalf was like his parental figure other than Bilbo. And then Samwise Gamgee was...
Every character in that movie was absolutely pivotal to everything that happened.
For sure.
But it wouldn't have had the outcome of
I'm talking
good
about
versus evil.
In like the narrative of it, right? Like we talk... When you're breaking down the story...
You can
like
watch those movies and you can see Frodo go from the character that he is.
He's such a different character.
To getting completely beat down
by
the end, to where Sam is carrying him up the hill as his best friend. I love Sam's character. So good.
Everybody loves Sam.
And the fact that he was going to quit, just like the king before him.
He wanted to hand the ring off multiple times.
That's how powerful it was. And if Gollum hadn't interfered and attacked him for the same reason of wanting that ring and falling off the cliff by just fate... Like I used to make fun of him. Like he wasn't an actual hero. He's going to walk away like everybody else, which is totally true. But all three of them were connected, and Gollum died sacrificing himself, not necessarily on purpose, but for the ring.
Yeah, the closest people connected to Frodo with the ring was definitely Gollum and Samwise Gamgee, for sure. Yep. And that's the narrative piece with it.
But it's also a good narrative of teamwork and family and friendship is what it is.
Yeah.
The whole story. Like that's one of the only series of movies and story arc where when they switch to another character, I'm excited. I'm like, we're going to this character now.
All right, we're going to Aragorn and Gimli
and
fucking...
even the characters that die in it. Boromir that gets shot with the arrows in the first movie. Like, dude, I had a moment. I was like, son of a bitch. Because that ring had his mind fucked up, and it wasn't even attached to him. It was next to him.
Yeah.
I mean, and to sit there, he's a baby bitch. No.
I just hate it so much.
It's not true.
So, with those movies as well, because I think those are movies that also blend practical effects and CGI effects pretty well. But I watched another movie that's a very good classic, and I think everybody loves this movie for a lot of different reasons. But I love it because it's just awesome. And that movie's Starship Troopers. So I
saw that in the theater, dude.
So did my sister and my dad, and I wish I did because that would have been a pretty magical experience. But like, I'm rewatching it again because I've been playing Starship Troopers Extermination, which is a 16-player co-op game. Starship Troopers, you're fighting bugs, building bases and shit. It's a fun game, but I was like, oh man, I'm in the mood to watch Starship Troopers again. So I watched it again. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it because we talked about practicals and CGI, right? And I thought this was an interesting discussion because I feel like that movie, to me, is like the pinnacle of both.
So I think this is a great topic because we talk about CG and how it ruins stuff, and we love practical effects. I think the era in which that movie came out where CG wasn't as cost effective as it is now, they had to use practical effects and craftsmen to build all these things, these stage pieces. And I think one of the best parts about that time in movie cinema was they were shooting on location. And so the backgrounds looked real. And like you said when we were talking about this before we started the cast, is you had mentioned that they use animatronics for like some of the up close scenes, and for the really intense scenes,
like to make the blood, to make the
and for the intense scenes where you want to see a horde of them or a whole swarm of them coming, you had to use CGI, just like how Lord of the Rings used CGI
exactly
for the big battle scenes,
because all of the orcs and Uruks were all just dudes in suits, and then
up close they were dudes in suits, and then far away
they would do the same thing,
CG,
or they would have like the CG for the ogres and shit.
And to be perfectly honest, dude, Starship Troopers is a really great film because it's actually kind of a parody film on war.
Satire,
yeah. It's a satire on war and like almost like World War II propaganda, the way they do the commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
And the movie does blend really well. Like, when I saw that in the theater, I wasn't like, oh, that's CG. Like, I thought that's really cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, even today, it still feels pretty realistic with
and
the CG.
Without Starship Troopers, we wouldn't have Helldivers.
It's true. No, it's true. But I mean, like, I'm watching the movie and like I'm thinking about all the really cool scenes, right? Like I think about when the first wave and he gets the fucking the head of the arachnid shoved in his thigh, right? And that's all practical effects and it looks so stunning. And then you get the scenes when they're defending the fortress after that they lay the trap and all of the bugs are there and Michael Ironside's character looks over and he just sees the horde and he just goes, and he's all angry faced, and you're just like, yeah, fucking loop that shit up, get it ready to go.
That's my character.
Ironside?
Yeah.
I have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
Yep.
If you quit, I'll shoot you myself. Do you get me? We get you, sir! Dude, when Helldivers 2 came out, and me and my family played it together, I was just quoting every single line from that movie all the way through. I was like sitting over there and I'd run over to my sister and I'd be like, you got a bug problem, man?
Yep. We have the same opinion and it's nice to see films like that. And our opinion is that if you use practical and CG blended well.
It's really hard because there's spots where it'll literally transition from a practical shot immediately into a CG shot and it's damn near seamless.
Yeah, and I really think it comes down to the fact that Hollywood is just fucking lazy, and they're trying to save so much money by making everything one. There are movies in that exact era that are all CG, and they don't age well.
Right.
I mean, I'm not comparing this film necessarily to Starship Troopers in the respect of like it's a good movie, but the movie Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman, I went back and rewatched it. That movie's so fucking bad. I love the era. I love the fantasy world, and that is total Castlevania style to me.
Right.
Awful when it comes to the CG. No practical effects at all. It looks terrible. And that goes back to our point. I think that if you combine the two and use them when they're necessary, you'll have a flushed out film that will age well. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about CG, I think the biggest one that comes to mind is like the Things prequel. And like we have our opinions on it, but like I mean, the narrative is all right. If it didn't have,
it would be a good movie if they had done practical and special effects.
If they've done what the producers and the director wanted to do. Yeah. And that's kind of a thing with like meddling studios, because they were like, oh, just do it CG. We want all CG. And I remember after I watched that movie for like the third time or something like that, and I saw that I think it was on Twitter, people were discussing it, and there was like it's not leaked footage, but it's like behind the scenes footage when they were developing a lot of practical stuff. Like they really wanted to do practical effects. They had a fucking alien pilot like ready to go. They had a fucking like a bunch of these crazy ass practical effects for these undescribable horrors, and it just makes me feel so sad in terms of like it was kind of a disappointing sequel to get something that we love so dearly being The Thing and having the prequel for it, because like that sounds awesome, like the Norwegian's perspective, the first sighting of The Thing, where it's just it's kind of primal in a way, where the monster isn't very human like or dog like because it's gotten time. And in The Thing with the Norwegians, right? It's played around with it and gotten used to it, so now it's a lot better, which is why it was so engrossing in The Thing. But like the idea of going in behind and seeing the Norwegian side and seeing like it primal and like it just doing crazy shit, but then it was all CG. It just kind of sucks. And I love The Thing. And I still love that movie.
We both do. That's why it's on our list of movies that we always watch every year.
Right.
Because it's just a great film.
It's one of the films not only discussed because the practical effects are so insane, but it's discussed narratively. It's 100% complete narrative film. You get everything you need. You get everything you are supposed to see.
It's all about isolation, dude.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it's
exactly. And they did it so the characters were so believable. They felt like just regular dudes.
It has my favorite actor of all time. So,
Kurt Russell or Wilford Brimley. My name is Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes. But I mean, you know, when I compare it with like Starship Troopers, and I've watched Starship Troopers a lot, and I've watched it more over the years because it's kind of gotten to this point where people, especially during like Helldivers, it was kind of controversial because people were like, "Oh my god, it's promoting war, it's promoting propaganda." It's like, no, it's a complete satire of that. You're not supposed to like it, even knowing we Helldivers are like, yeah, we'll sign up for it. For super. It's fun. It's fantasy. It's not meant to be taken seriously, and that's kind of the way that I view Starship Troopers.
I mean, they did it during World War II.
I mean, dude,
American propaganda to fight against the Nazis.
Rico, and I mean the other Starship Trooper films are pretty garbage. The third one is a lot of CG, and I know that they got the same chick that was the commander chick of the ship in the first movie, in the third movie. And it was all about like that base or whatever, and there was like a fucking little arachnid that was like body host taking over people and shit. And then Rico shows up with a fucking mech squad, and he's all naked, and they're all like fucking getting prepared. And I was just like, this is some crazy shit, but it was really bad. It was really dumb. But it
could have been good if they didn't have the budget.
Yeah, well, that, and I don't think the script writers really knew what they wanted to do with it.
Right.
But I mean, like, that just goes on to this topic of like disappointing sequels.
Oh god, we have a list here, dude.
Yeah,
we have a list.
We have more, but we have a little bit of a list here.
Yep.
Okay,
go ahead. Start with your list, buddy.
You want me to start? Okay. So we've got a couple of movies here for some disappointing sequels that we kind of started talking about and thinking about. And the number one thing that really kicked it off in my brain was Kick-Ass 2. So
explain.
I loved Kick-Ass 1 a lot. I rewatched that movie a bunch. I think it's one of the best like superhero comedy.
It was Deadpool before Deadpool. In the retrospect of the anti-hero, I mean, I'm not saying that they're the same movie, but it was.
You're not saying they're directly, but in the terms of just like the way that character kind of is, yeah, for sure. The out of the comic book into the reality kind of aspect, right. The fourth wall breaks and stuff. But I mean, like, Kick-Ass 1 was one of those movies that, after I finished watching it when I was a kid, I was like, I want to go be a superhero, and it's not a good idea because you get your ass beat.
Yep.
But I remember being so excited for Kick-Ass 2, and I don't think Kick-Ass 2 is a bad film. It's not. It's an average film. There's a lot of good in it, and there's a lot of bad in it. There's a lot of things that I'm totally for, and then there was a lot of stuff.
The movie was just okay.
Yeah.
That's why it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first movie at all.
For sure. Like for instance, like aspects that I liked about it was Kick-Ass's dad dies, and then he becomes, he initially is like, I'm done, I quit, this is what my dad wanted. And then the fucking, what do they call themselves? The fucking supervillain group.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched that movie.
I remember the names of individual, Mother Russia, Genghis Khan. The fucking, it was so stupid. The Black Mamba, I think is what they call them and shit. So there was a lot of funny scenes with that character too, with that actor, because he's also a really good actor, and he did a really good job in that movie too. I can't remember his name, but I know he's also in Blark and Son. He plays Son.
Yeah, it was McLovin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what his name is, but
I think his name is like Christopher or Chris something. But like that was a good thing. I liked the superhero group. I think that there was a couple of things that I didn't like about it in terms of like just showcase. Like, I thought that Colonel Stars and Stripes was awesome, and the guy that they got to play him was fucking badass. I just felt that the forced
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
There you go, Chris. Yeah, see, I knew it was Christopher. I thought that the forced sexual romantic relationship with Kick-Ass and Night Bitch was a little dumb, but it also kind of served a narrative purpose. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, my brain goes back and forth with it. Like, I'm like, oh, this was a bad thing, but it also had a really good thing in the narrative that I really enjoyed about it. And it just sucked because I wanted it to be a good movie.
Wasn't that Jim Carrey?
No, for Colonel Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, I thought that was Jim Carrey.
That was not Jim Carrey. Although, to be fair, he kind of has a face of Jim Carrey a little bit, for sure. Let me.
Yes, it is. Colonel Stars and Stripes, Jim Carrey.
That was Jim Carrey?
Yep.
That was Jim Carrey?
Yep.
How did I not? Dude, that just goes to show how fucking crazy Jim Carrey is. No, shut up. That just goes to show how fucking crazy Jim Carrey is, dude. That's insane. I did not know that was Jim Carrey.
After the podcast, it'll be a single man podcast because I'm going to force Kayman off a cliff.
And I mean, to be fair, too, let's also give credit for Aaron Taylor Johnson. Like, I think he does a really good job in those movies.
Yeah, he's a good actor in general.
Dude, him in Bullet Train.
That movie's just awesome.
Get the fuck out of here. But, yeah, I mean, there's...
It was disappointing because it wasn't as good as the first one, and it just wasn't... It was just okay. I mean, we have a list here of bad movies.
Ones, for sure. Like, and this is definitely not...
Any of the Mary Sue Star Wars movies...
You mean the sequels?
They're terrible. Absolutely terrible. None of them are good. I walked out of every one of those more angrier than the last
we all walked out of The Rise of Skywalker, me, you, and Dad, and that was like your gift to Dad for his birthday. And we all walked out of that theater.
Happy birthday, dude.
We walked out of that movie theater, and all of us like were quiet for a minute, and as soon as we stepped out of the theater, we were like, that was a fucking terrible movie.
Yeah. I mean, they lost me when... Like I said, they lost me when Princess Leia force floated back into the ship, and then
that was the
second movie,
Jedi Returns or something like that.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's Star Wars. This is a terrible trilogy. Alien 3 is one that we have on the list, and that one was one of those movies that suffered from terrible CG and a bad, rough script.
Yeah, didn't that thing get rewritten like multiple times?
To kill Ripley off like that, like to have the alien queen burst out of her chest, stupid. It was done. It was done on an alien. I think it was a planet or moon, and they were in a prison, and it was just. I know they were trying to go for claustrophobia and having like an Alien 1 kind of esque feel, where it's these guys that have no weapons because they're all prisoners.
Prisoners, yeah.
But
it also had fucking Ron Perlman in it too.
No, that was the fourth one.
That was the fourth one?
Yeah, that was one that was directed by Josh Whedon. That was even fucking worse. Resurrection.
Okay.
With the pink alien with the nose, terrible. But Alien 3 suffered a lot from just an uneven script, kind of boring. I know they were trying to bring it back to the original, but they went ahead and gave the dog alien like a CG with the first person was running up and down the.
And I mean, even then too, like the biggest problem was that Aliens was such a masterclass film in action horror.
James Cameron.
That kind of put everybody up on a big pedestal.
Well, I mean, nobody really knew what to think at Aliens because the first one was like a sci-fi horror, and this one was an action sci-fi horror, and it was, dude. When that movie came out, it influenced a generation of people to this day. For sure. I can talk a lot about Jaws: The Revenge. It's absolutely terrible. I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
Jaws 1 and 2. Jaws 2 isn't as good as the original because nothing is. But Jaws 2 was good. It wasn't great. It's kind of kick-ass. You watch it.
There was good things and bad things.
Yeah. Roy Scheider came back as Brody and all that stuff. But in Jaws: The Revenge, it's the fourth movie. It starred Michael Caine, and I can't remember the wife that was in all the Jaws movies. And the shark, a prehistoric creature that doesn't care about anything besides eating and sleeping and procreating, wants to get their revenge on this one family. I mean, dude, it's the dumbest script.
If it was a killer whale.
Well, because they're smarter. But
exactly.
The thing is that I showed you that scene on YouTube where the son is like doing this thing where they're shocking the shark and it's jumping out of the water and it's roaring like a T-Rex. And when I was a kid, I was like, whoa! But then I realized sharks can't make noise because they don't have vocal cords. Terrible, terrible film. And I hate it, dude. And then we both hate this movie, Meg 2. So bad. So fucking bad.
I have like a big love-hate relationship because there's a lot of fun stuff that I liked about Meg 2. Like I liked it when they were in the deep, deep ocean. But that's also just probably because it gave me like underwater vibes.
Well, it was also because we're curious. We want to know.
Yeah.
What are they going to come up with?
Yeah.
Dude, the worst scene is where this prehistoric gigantic shark jumps out of the water and he spears it with a big pole, and one man is holding this shark up, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are, Kratos? No. You're not a god killer.
Nah, dude, that's Nathan Statham. He's
Jason.
Or Jason Statham, yeah. You don't fuck with him. He's he kind of turned into like the cheesy action star for the longest time.
Jason Statham knows his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
He even says that he doesn't try to go out and do crazy shit because he knows he's not the best actor. He said that. And I know in real life, Jason Statham's a martial artist. He could kick my ass.
He's also a cool dude.
But that movie was bad. Like they with Jason Statham being the main character and being athletically as badass as he is in real life at the age that he's at, they could have come up with a million things.
He fucking karate kicks the Meg in the face.
They could have had in Jaws 4: The Revenge. They kill the shark by stabbing it with the bow of the ship with the
like a harpoon or something.
It's like the point of the ship. It's like
gotcha.
It's the point. It's the piece of the ship that sticks out of the front of the bow, and it ties the sails together. Mm-hmm. It's like a big fucking spear. They stabbed the shark in that movie. They could have done that in Meg 2. They could have had some big. We're backing you up, and he's on a ski-doo trying to get away from this thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, literally that last section, he's just on a fucking jet ski, and just running away from the giant kraken and the fucking megalodon.
Yeah, it's just a bad film.
I mean, and to be fair too, like the Meg one wasn't a crazy good film. It was just like all right,
it was still fun.
It was a fun, yeah. I mean, it was cheesy blockbuster fun movie to go see for once.
It wasn't a masterpiece as in Spielberg's Jaws. But when it comes to a fun, I can watch it every couple of years as a fun shark movie. That when I'm booked out of Jaws, Meg's a good film to throw on.
Yeah,
Meg 2 is garbage. It is literally in the same vein as Sharknado and any other dumb shark movie.
It was really funny because it was playing at my work. And I was watching it, and I was like, "That's the Meg too." I was just like, "Damn." I mean, sequels, right? And we've talked a lot about Marvel, but this one really, really fucking irked me the wrong way. And I got into an argument with my dad about it, and you guys were there for that argument because we were both. He was drunk, and I was probably drunk. I don't remember.
Oh, you both were in the we're not no fucks given mode.
But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness
I never saw it.
It was a bad sequel. And it wasn't bad because the acting was bad or the CGI was bad. It was mostly just bad because the narrative broke it so hard. And I think that's like the prime example of just bad narrative that really brings a film down. Like my dad, he loves Marvel. He loves Marvel films, and it's totally in his prerogative too because they did really good, for a while there. But Multiverse of Madness came out after Endgame, which is I've mentioned it a lot before. Endgame and Infinity War really capped it off so perfectly in terms of just like this was the 10-year story, and continuing it was already going to be a challenge enough. And the biggest problem with that movie is just the main villain. Wanda is just not believable. She's not the same character. She does things that doesn't make any sense if you think about it lore-wise. And her motivations is retarded. Just top-level retarded. And to go into it, it was basically just that she was upsetty spaghetti, that she couldn't have her kids. So now she's going to let it out on everybody else and turn into this evil witch and steal kids from other dimensions. But then here's the plot hole, is she can't travel to other dimensions, but she can take over other Wandas in other dimensions. So why doesn't she just do that and live in another dimension? It breaks the whole narrative with one single thing. And the whole movie goes through this whole thing where they're traveling through these other dimensions, parallel universes, and all these things. And Doctor Strange and the other girl, I think her name was like something America Chavez, that's her name, yeah. And her power is that she's able to travel through the dimensions with like some sort of like star cosmic power or whatever. And they go to one universe where Doctor Strange sacrificed himself in the stupidest way possible. And it's literally like the universe that has the strongest of the strongest heroes of all time, right? It's got fucking Mr. X, like prime Mr. X. Like he's fucking the most powerful Mr. X of all universes. It's got fucking Mr. Fantastic, all of these other superheroes. And Wanda just wipes the floor with them. Explain it to me. How is the man that is so psychically powerful killed in his own psychic world?
I'm sorry. Were you speaking about a movie I cared about? I mean, dude, I'm gonna go even further, dude. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, dude. Like, I'm not trying to shift gears. I don't care about Doctor Strange, and we're not going to care about this either. How do you go from making one of the scariest films, Nightmare on Elm Street, to the sequel that gets rid of the first character? Basically, this family moves into the same house. I mean, that's cheesy. That's the storyline. And the kid is being tormented by Freddy because that was Freddy's house. And it's the same story, but dude, it has the most gay undertones. I'm not kidding you. Dude dancing in his bedroom in his underpants. And he's dancing to some 80s synth rock. Is
it like that one movie where it's got that one song and the Family Guy made the joke about it, and it's the
Risky Business. but that actually a good movie. But this kid's dancing in his room, and the actor is gay. Like, he is a gay, in real life. And he said that even he was like, you want me to act this straight? And it came off really gay, and there was a lot of gay undertones in this movie, which was weird to me that was in that movie. But speaking of Freddy, he does things in the second movie because that he's not supposed to be able to do.
And also, just to clarify, it's not about him being gay. That's the problem. It just messed with the narrative that made it feel off.
It was forced undertones that even he didn't realize. Like, I'm not blaming the actors. This is the director and how way he was interpreting it, or the director or whatever. And it's just terrible. I like the actor. I think he was a good dude. He did a good job. But Freddy did things in this movie that Freddy wasn't able to do in the first movie that didn't make any sense. He came out of the dream world and just started killing kids at a pool party. Like, he can't do that.
Isn't that like the whole thing? Is he's in the dream
basically
world?
Tortures you.
I'm not familiar with the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Okay, so
because I know of the character and I know the character's story, but I haven't watched
the story behind the reality of Nightmare on Elm Street is really creepy. So there was a article that Wes Craven had read about this kid from Thailand or Philippines who was being tortured by night terrors. And so they had him hooked up to these machines to study his dreams. His family was there and everything. This is actually really terrifying. This is a real event. And the kid in his sleep wakes up in his dream and dies in front of his family because he died in his dream. Like, screams. Like, they have him on sedation, and this kid comes out of sedation and screams, eyes closed, and just dies. So the whole inspiration behind Freddy is, and which is why I thought it was so cool, was when Wes Craven was a young kid, he used to live in these apartments in L.A. And one day he heard a noise out. He was home by himself. His parents were gone at work.
It's classic.
Okay, and he
it's happened to me.
and he hears a noise outside, so he looks outside, and this homeless guy's walking down the street wearing a fucking fedora, which is the hat, and a striped shirt. And he's walking, he's drunk or whatever, and he stops, looks up at the window and sees Wes Craven in a dark fucking room and walks into the apartment complex like he's going to go upstairs. And Wes Craven hears a knock at the door. He said it was the most terrifying experience of his life. So the inspiration between Freddy is scarier than the character.
Of those two things.
But those two things. But in Freddy, in the dream world of Nightmare on Elm Street, the whole thing is he was a child murderer, makes a deal with the devil, becomes a dream demon to get revenge on the family. That basically what happened is that Freddy gets off on a legality charge, and the parents that lost the kids burn him alive, and he dies. So when he comes back to murder the kids of Elm Street because he's getting back at the revenge of the parents, that's how it happens. He makes the kids go basically delirious, and they can't tell if they're dreaming or if they're awake. But in the second movie, it's bad because they just throw all that fucking cool lore out, and he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. And that's not how it happens. They went back to that.
So they kind of tried to make it like a cosmic entity instead of it being like a...
No, he was still like a dream demon, but he could control kids whenever he wanted. And he could come out of the dream world. He wasn't allowed to. He was dead. He was a spirit.
Yeah.
And so the movie just had a lot of weird undertones. Like, I'm not harping on the gay undertones. I didn't notice it when I was a kid. It's when you get older and you see it, you're more experienced with things. You're like, well, that's kind of gay. Like, not like, oh, I'm mad that it's gay. It's just like,
yeah,
because this character is playing a straight character and a girl likes him. There's way, and I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think it's just the way it was directed. But it's a lot of weird shit in that movie. But it was a terrible sequel.
I mean, I might need to be able to go and just watch Nightmare on Elm Street because I've only seen Halloween and Halloween Ends, and then the third one.
Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 1984 is my favorite horror film of all time.
Yeah,
hands down one of the scariest films in my opinion. But that was just my disappointing one. I liked the rest of them until they got towards the end of the series and they got really goofy.
Yeah, because I think you guys were talking to me once about like the recent one where they like really fucked up his backstory or something.
Well, they made him into a pedophile. And originally he was supposed to be kind of a pedophile, but there was in LA there was a serial killer in LA that was a pedophile that got captured, and Wes was like, we can't put that in the film because that's too close to home right now. And so because what's scarier than taking advantage of children and then murdering them, right? Like that's fucked up. So
I feel like that goes on to a topic I'd love to talk about is what we can't make as movie as I'd say is like art. I hate to say it as art because I mean that thing isn't something that should be artful, but like something to express. Well,
I think it was a good move, not because I don't think that the people in the 80s were ready for it. I just think that he was respectful to the families that had gone through something terrible.
I'm just talking from like my experience. Like I love movies that really delve deep and show these really dark things.
The best kind of horror movies, in my opinion, don't have to show the graphic stuff. They leave it to your own interpretation.
For sure. I'm not saying like he should just be going around and doing that. I'm just saying like it's that thing that I feel that sucks is like there's a show that I really like. It's called Utopia, and they had a controversy happen because they did a school shooting right after Columbine. And or some sort of
Columbine happened in the 90s.
It was a shooting in the UK that happened, and it was a pretty bad one. But a lot of people were like mad about it because they were like, "Oh, that's too close." And I'm like, "Dude, this is we should talk about it. We should have it in media because it's not only important to show these things, whether it's dark enough already." I feel like, in my opinion, that shouldn't be off the table. If it's something that, if you're not making it just something for like pure pleasure, like if somebody's really getting off to that kind of thing,
if you're making a school shooting because you want to just shock people,
yeah,
it's people are already shocked when you see it on the
news. It has
news.
to serve some sort of purpose and some sort of like what you're trying to tell the people, and that's why. And I'll talk about it for a second because I'll go on if I do. But like Berserk does that shit all the time, and it talks all the time about the mistreatment of women and children,
right,
especially in the medieval ages. Yeah. And it doesn't take away from the story. A lot of people have discussed it a lot because sometimes the Japanese are the Japanese and they can show things a little bit differently than somebody in the West would or somebody in like a different country would. But like, it's not to the point where it's like, okay, that's just outright wrong. It's to the point where people are like, I don't know if this is wrong or not. Yeah. But that's what I'll leave it to. Since we talked about disappointing movies, disappointing sequels, what are some of the best sequels that you can name?
Dude, we got a list right here, buddy. I mean, let's just go down the list, okay? I think people will agree.
Aliens,
Terminator 2,
Judgment Day,
Dawn of the Dead, John Wick 2, because we talked about how we loved that sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you brought this one up, but I thought it was a great ad. Top Gun Maverick.
Dude, I love Top Gun Maverick.
I really like that you brought up Spider-Man 2 because I'd forgotten about
with
that.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
Tobey
Maguire. Tobey Maguire 2.
Which had Doc Ock in it.
And then, of course, I brought up Evil Dead 2.
Hey, man, Evil Dead 2 is a fucking awesome movie.
And then Episode 5, Star Wars.
Which was...
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, my God.
Excellent. All those movies were masterclass sequels. And
but what is it about those movies that you think that just elevate them so much better from the originals? Just pick one and go off of that.
Aliens. Perfect. Alien 1 was so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It was a horror sci-fi,
mm-hmm.
and it was all about being isolated. A group of miners, or not miners, they were hauling cargo. I can't remember what they called.
Yeah, they were transporting stuff.
Yeah, and they get a distress call, and they go to this thing. Person gets infected, and now you got this fucking 8-foot tall xenomorph running around, and they have no fucking weapons.
I laugh at people because there's a lot of like women out there that are like sexually attracted to the xenomorph. Like my ex was attracted to the xenomorph.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. So weird. And it's so crazy because like when I'm thinking about it, I would fucking shit myself.
There's nothing attractive about it. But anyways,
if I would I would shit myself if I saw like it on the wall like fucking curled up.
Yeah.
That would freak me the fuck out.
Aliens was still that scary, but on a grander scale. Like you introduce this group of badass Marines to go to the colony in where the first one was at. And you bring our character, our favorite female character,
Ellen Ripley, baby,
and she goes back because they think she's crazy, and they lose. And it's just this grander scale of what the Hive really is. Like one wiped out her whole crew. What about 60, 70, 80 of them? And 20 Marines. I mean, it's brutal.
And it's the thing that makes it more effective too is like the weaponry that they carry is some of the fucking most badass, coolest fucking shit,
dude. And
90 routes in seconds with a fucking assault rifle. Yeah. Like, dude.
the smart gun that follows wherever you look. I mean, the xenomorphs in that were terrifying and more terrifying than the original. I mean, the best scene in the movie is when they hear there should be in the room, and he looks up through the ceiling grate and they're crawling on the pipe, and those are real people crawling through the pipe and falling down in alien suits. That is one of the fucking coolest scenes in the movie. I mean. And
it reminds me when we talked about it before, the AVP game, when you're playing as the Marine and you get to the club section.
Yep.
Well,
and then of course one of the best lines. There's so many good lines in Aliens.
Yeah,
like
get away from here, you bitch. Game over, man. Dude, game over.
Bill Paxton's game over, man. Game over. We're fucked. But I also like the line from, I want to say it's Hicks. When they get the plan from the guy from the Wayland Corporation, and he goes, I don't know what's worse, them or us. I don't see them fucking each other over for 0.5%. And it's like, dude, it's so cool. But Terminator 2, same thing. James Cameron,
dude, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, the fucking king of old school action movies.
Yep.
We love Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think what makes him great is it was the original directors and writers. And it's like Dawn of the Dead. It's like it's Dawn of the Dead was like Night of the Living Dead on a bigger scale, more production. They didn't waste the money. They made a bigger scale. John Wick.
They had a plan.
Yeah,
they had a plan.
John Wick 2. As soon as John Wick 1 did well, they just continued the story and they got greenlit for more sequels. And see, my thing is that I love John Wick 4. But I wasn't a big fan of 3. But 3 is better now that it's all flushed out.
I think that because for me, I rank it goes 2, 1, 3, 4.
Yep.
And I say 4 is the lowest because, they're all fantastic action movies. But 4 is the lowest one because it was the ending of all of the craziest action you can see. The ending sequence when he goes up and fucking down those stairs, dude.
Brutal.
It's crazy. It's awesome. But John Wick 2 fucks. Yeah. It is such a good movie.
You brought up, like I said earlier, Top Gun Maverick, and so I waited a while to watch that movie because I wasn't a huge fan of the original movie until my later years. And what makes Maverick so good is that first of all, it's a great film.
Yeah,
but it does it did the best member berries out of every film that's
because
come
it
out.
Wasn't specifically just member berries. It was like it was doing something new with it, but then it was like, hey, this happened in the first movie.
They gave the fans the fanfare they needed with a really cool story.
And I also thought, too, that the main character, with Tom Cruise playing him, they really fleshed out his character even more, being this, older...
It felt organic rather than forced. And Spider-Man 2 was just a really great...
Spider-Man 1 was the fucking launch point for those movies.
But 2 was so good.
It was so good, dude. I think the reason why Doc Ock worked so much is because they made it interpersonal with Peter Parker itself. And it's the same way in the comics, too. But, just that dynamic and seeing, especially, that transition point. They did the same thing with the Green Goblin. Spider-Man villains has a lot of things where they have a terrible thing happen to them and their character completely changes. It's just different, right? Your Green Goblin is this entity that lives in his mind that just takes over when it wants, and it's the Green Goblin.
And same thing with Dr. Ock.
It's not Dr.
The AI actually starts taking over and becoming...
Spider-Man 2
that's a good learning experience. Don't use AI. Evil Dead 2 was Evil Dead 1 remade, and they said that on before. But it was on such a better scale.
I think it was more too because they took it to a different way.
They trimmed it down to originally only having the two characters, Ash and his girlfriend. And there are so many scenes before the archaeologist's daughter and her boyfriend and the hillbilly and his girlfriend show up. There's so many scenes I use it all the time. I'm fine. And then he comes out of the mirror and goes, "Are you fine? We left our girlfriend's head up with a chainsaw. You call that fine?" And then all the creatures like,
yeah. I mean, that's also just due to like them really fleshing out the Deadites fucking with Ash.
Well, they made Ash's character. That's when his character really shined.
Yeah.
Because one of the best line, they use it where she's like, "I swallow you, swallow you." Swallow this. And he blows her head off. And it's just like, his character.
And Bruce Campbell, man, the fucking, it's just
legend.
Absolute goat.
And then, like, we could talk about Star Wars all day long, but Star Wars was a 5. That's
Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 are
masterpieces.
And there's a reason for that. It's because it's not only like they are great films, but like there are more narratively rich films than Star Wars is. The thing is, Star Wars is it created this entire universe that felt real. It had these characters that had depth to them.
We can relate to them.
And then Empire Strikes Back, because the first film just introduces them. Like Luke isn't really a character.
It's just like Lord of the Rings, dude.
And then Empire Strikes comes
happy,
out. Yeah.
And the second one is not so happy.
And then Empire Strike Back comes back and it's like, oh yeah, you know what, motherfucker? Bam! Right hook. Fucking Luke's a cool character. Bam! Darth Vader's his father. Bam! Yep. Fucking Han Solo gets put, and Leia goes, "I love you," and he just goes, "I know," and then he fucking gets frozen in carbonite. It's just like, it's so good.
And
so good.
Such a depressing note. And then it opens up, because I really liked Jedi a lot, and I grew up in there's the generation of Star Wars fans that are older, like born in the early 70s, like your dad, and a couple of my other friends, and they don't like the Ewoks. And I was a younger kid, and I grew up and I was like, dude, I loved it. I didn't care.
The Ewoks are just fun.
Dude, I loved Return of the Jedi, and I thought it was great. I thought the whole series as a whole was awesome.
No, and personally, like, my favorite Star Wars movie is 3, and I think it's just because the sets and the narrative.
The final battle
is...
When I saw that in the theater and Duel of Fates came on.
Oh my God, we rewatched it when it was re-released in the theaters, and it was fucking peak. It was so good. Yeah, it was so awesome. I'm so glad I did that. And
I tell everybody, I go, you want to watch Star Wars complete? You watch 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. Even knowing that, like, 1 and 2 set up the characters, I still think that 3 is one of those movies that is really good. Even knowing that 4, 5, and 6 are better in terms of just how perfect they are,
But 3 adds to it really well.
Yeah, I think it adds to it really well because it adds that character element to Darth Vader, being Anakin Skywalker, and you see that transition. And then
really, all of us that watched the prequels, we were waiting for this moment.
Yeah,
and I really think that Revenge of the Sith,
the fucking music. Yeah. Oh my God,
Revenge of the Sith. They could have they literally could have made that one film. And people would have been happy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be the end of the Back Alley Theater.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go ahead and move over to the store club and let's get this shit ended. So, in terms of music, I've talked about not too much about my personal stuff, but I've been going through some shit, and you have too. And I was listening to a lot of like electronic music that I used to listen to when I was a kid. And I talked about Grant's Wishes a lot because that song really, really hit me at the perfect time.
Right.
And so now, we've talked about this artist before, and we love this artist, and how new she is and how much of a good artist she is. But like I recently have been listening to her newest album again, and this artist is Ella Langley.
Yep.
And
is Dandelion.
It hit me.
Yeah.
Like, I put on the first 3 tracks, and then I went back and listened to it. And the first 3 tracks that I listened to again was Choosing Texas, Learning to Loving Life Again. I think it was again. And there was one more. And in my head, while I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the music, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm like, it feels like a healing period, right? The other song is I Can't Love You Anymore. That was the other one, which is not on her newest album, but same thing. But I'm listening to these tracks, and Loving Life Again really hits right now the most because I feel like I'm starting to come back to what I want to be, a happy, joyful, positive person.
There's a lot of like songs in that album, in the newest album, that are some of them have to deal with breakups and moving on.
Yeah,
but most of it is about accepting who you are. And another thing I really liked about what she says in some of the songs is essentially going back to what makes you you.
Yeah, and learning to love again, or
life again.
I'm gonna get the name of the title here. Loving Life Again, specific track.
Yep.
Is just about that. She talks about, every time she's in a rut, every time she's stuck in her brain thinking about these bad things, she goes back to that one song or those one memories, and comes back to enjoying life again. Yep. And it's kind of hitting me hardest because I've been recently dealing with a lot of loss and a lot of personal medical problems that's really fucked me up. And I struggled to be positive, especially when I'm at work. And I got a compliment from my security director, and because he was talking to me, and it was about business and stuff, but he was changing some stuff and talking about being more positive and more welcoming to guests that come in. And I told him, I was like, I can guarantee you that's not me. And he's like, it can't be you. Every experience and small conversations and everything I've had with you, you seem like a very positive person. And I stopped and I was like, I really wasn't on Friday. I was pretty hurt on Friday. Yeah. And he was like, I'm sorry about that. But, I try to bring positiveness into my life more than I try to bring negativity, because I don't want to be angry anymore, And Loving Life Again, I think, is hitting so hard because it's literally about that, about being in hard spots, but trying to just moving on and being positive about it.
Moving forward, yep.
And all of her music, like, I'm not a huge country fan, and it's a struggle for me to really get into it with country because it's just something that I'm not super about. But like that whole album, I blew through it like twice, going back and forth. And she has a very beautiful voice that speaks
very old school.
Yeah, it speaks to something very old school in terms of like a lot of, how like a lot of like 70s music is all like up and jovial, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go to like 80s and it's all about the disco and the dance, right? There's something about country music, like the ones that I like, that goes back to some sort of like old school Western, like, I'm gonna just kind of do it.
Well, it depends on what kind of country you're into, because there's like outlaw country, there's like country where it's like, they talk about daily life. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is, in any music, I think that there is a you can relate to it whether or not you like it. I have friends that don't like country music at all. They hate it. And I was on that bandwagon for a long time, but when you find something you relate to, it's hard to not like it, And so for me, so I'm not a super religious Christian person. Mm-hmm. So when they get onto the church stuff, I'll blow through the song and I get kind of, but it's the other songs that I really enjoy because we all have the similar struggles.
It's a human experience.
The human connection. It's when they talk about, loving their parents or falling out of love or having an alcohol problem or dealing with breakup or divorce or something crazy.
It's she mostly talks about just not finding somebody for her, in her songs.
Well, and she admits in some of the songs that, part of it's her. And I like that because it's
open. Accountability.
She's accountability and honest. She's not just saying it's always this side's fault. And I think that's what draws a lot of people to her music. And I've seen plenty of interviews with her, and she seems extremely genuine. Like, I'm glad she's getting the success that she's getting, and I'm glad she's going on tour and she's enjoying herself. I mean, as long as she's enjoying herself and writing music that she enjoys to write and doesn't lose, love for it, I think that it'll radiate through the people that listen to it. So I totally agree with you.
And I mean, like I mentioned before, like the fact that it's hit people that don't really enjoy country that much so hard to where it's just like relatable things. It goes the same thing with like any other music. Like, we talk a lot like R&B or rap and stuff, but we'll have a song.
Dude, that's like Chris Stapleton. Every time I listen to him, I'm like, you son of a bitch. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and like the other country artist, Morgan Wallen, like a lot. You showed me that one album during a really rough period, and it kind of hit at the same time too. And like I put a lot of those songs on my rotation. And I'm sitting here and I'm like listening to these songs and I'm thinking about what you talk about a lot, in terms of like music. We've talked about it for the past, I want to say like 6 episodes, with just coming back to music at the right time and having music just hit you at the right time instead of it being that you just don't like it.
That's the beauty of music, dude.
You know, and it makes me think. And I'm sitting here on the bus as I'm on my way home, just listening to music, right? Soundtrack of my life. And it makes you feel something.
Yep.
It makes me feel something.
Yep.
And
music hits us. I know it sounds weird, but I always heard this phrase: "It hits you on the fourth dimension."
Yeah,
you know, that weird energy. You know, and it's the one art, in my opinion, out of everything that brings more people together than anything else.
For sure.
You know, and you can like a genre, you can hate a genre. You can like one song out of a genre, you may not like any of it. Whatever, you might like it. I was never a huge country fan. I've gotten into it recently just because I'm trying to get into it. Mm-hmm. I want to listen to new music. I don't want to be stuck on one. I mean, I love metal music, and I'll never. That's number one. That'll be 70% of my daily edible music. You know, meals, but. I like that healthy 30% of other things I listen to, because 30% of your of 47,000 bands I listen to is a lot. You know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm trying to delve into like hip hop and stuff. You know,
and it's also been rough for me to try to be going back. Like I've tried to go back and listen to metal songs, and it's not my time right now. Right. And I'm trying to come to grips with that because I fucking love metal too.
I think. When you're in a time of distress, like, so when I had a pretty traumatic experience happen when I was in my early 20s, and all this shit toppled on top of me, and I was trying to better my life and get healthier and all this other stuff, I listened to a lot of Led Zeppelin. And like, I haven't listened to a lot lately, but holy shit, it was like kind of like what you're saying. It was like, I needed that now.
It's like the same thing with like Symphony X. In my brain, like I don't listen to a lot of Symphony X nowadays, even knowing that I
you talk about them all the time, and you
my
love
number
them,
one band, you know, but like they're just not my time right now,
right?
You know, and I've been thinking about that a lot, just because of how interesting it can be to be into something that you're not normally into, but it's just the right moment, and it kind of makes me believe a tiny bit in like fate or like universal, you know. Divine nature to have things come to you at the right moment, kind of shit. And it just makes me interested, you know. And I think with Ella Langley, I'm gonna probably keep checking up on her and listen to all of her new albums.
I've listened to all her albums. I actually got my wife into her.
I have a few friends that are into her music too.
It's right before her new album came out and she blew up. And I was kind of like right at the tail end of like her being a normal country singer. And she probably was popular in the circle, but not in the mainstream. And then Danny Lane came out, Choosing Texas, and all of a sudden, bam! It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
good on her, man. I'm glad she's doing good.
She deserves it. She's a good artist. You know, there's a few times where artists kind of don't feel like they deserve it, but some of them we can for sure say.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that too, you remember Mapro, right?
Yep.
She's playing and singing live with Bring Me the Horizon right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's on tour with them and singing a lot of their songs with them.
Oh, good. She's not AI.
Right? That's what I thought, too. But, yeah, I mean, what a time, man. It's been a weird couple of years.
Oh, yeah. It's fun, man. It's how life learns, man. It's how this life is, man.
Yeah. Well, you got Grand Magus, his new album, Wolf God.
Yep. Ashley and I saw them live in 2019. I found them a year before that. They're like they're metal, but they're like rock metal. You know, you can hear the singer. You can understand what he's saying. We were watching another podcast on YouTube. It was the Grimfrost podcast test, and it's my favorite band's lead singer on Mars.
No, I'm just giving you shit.
He interviewed the lead singer of Grand Magus, and I was like, oh my god! I said I didn't forget about him, but I was like, I need to go back and listen to them again because they have some great songs. But there was an album that Ashley hadn't. She knew the songs, but she didn't download the album yet. So I realized I didn't have it in my collection. I'm like, but I remember back when their discography was on Apple Music, a couple albums fell off their selection. And I was like, where the hell did this album go? And the one I'm going to talk about is The Wolf God. And it's this really cool, it's all in the eyes of a wolf. But there's a song called He Sent Them Back to Hell. And it's such a groovy song. When I heard it for the first time, it's one of those songs where you want to put your fist up and your head just going.
And
it was just a killer song.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the album I've been rocking the last couple of days, just because of the fact that I wanted to get back into their stuff again.
Okay. I wanted to talk about it because we've only mentioned it every once in a while here, and that's Wardruna. And I wanted to ask why it's so important to us about Wardruna, and talk about that a little bit.
Well, for the people that don't know me, I've always been kind of a bit of an atheist back in the day. My mom was Catholic, and she was never judgmental, and she was never pushy on the religious stuff. She would ask me every once in a while if I wanted to go to church with her, and I said I don't want to burn up when I walk in through the doors, and I made jokes about it all the time. Mm-hmm. But it was because something else was calling me, and I've been a Norse pagan for the last 7 years. Even, I mean, probably before that's probably why I didn't find my calling. But this has, I mean, they're not out there saying they're like Norse culture, but they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have a record. They have their own record label called By Norse West or Norse by Norse or whatever. And I think their music, in my opinion, for me, because I don't speak Norwegian or any Scandinavian language, but I know their songs the moment they come on. I know exactly what the name of the song is. I know exactly which one it is. Mm-hmm. And they hit you on, for me, they hit me on such a primal level. It's such a spiritual primal level that it's almost not a religious experience, but just like that's a calm for me. Like there are songs they have that jack me up a little bit, but not like, like I'm going to go out. I mean, I've worked out with their music before and it's insane, but,
I mean, I ran with their music and it was like a trance, and I can't remember what happened.
I mean, I've seen them live 4 times, and whenever they come to town, I'm never missing a show. I mean, it's just a different experience. It's different than anything I've ever experienced. I mean, I listen to a lot of metal. I listen, like I said, we've done
fast
country
stuff,
and rap,
crazy stuff.
And when you think folk music, you're thinking some dude with a guitar talking about political shit, which is not bad. But I'm saying, like, when I hear this, I'm thinking I'm transported 1,000 years in time when life was simpler and harder. The human life was simpler in the retrospect of like what we believed.
We didn't have too much to really worry about.
We didn't have any distractions. We had a purpose, and the music just kind of gets me focused. I just love their music so much.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because it was a bit of difficulty because I was such in a fast paced mode when you first introduced them to me, and energy, and I was needing that like orbit culture pretty much, and once I started to be able to let that out, I started playing more Wardruna, and it is definitely a spiritual experience because I get the same things where when I'm listening to them, it's kind of like the same thing of being transported back in that time period.
It's very primal to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just the way that style is,
I feel like we talk about a lot about technology and stuff, and I feel like I need to disconnect from technology.
Well, I mean,
a lot. And
I know you're not a huge fan of them, but Rush's song "Spirit of the Radio" talks about that entirely. I'll quote them directly. All of this machinery making modern music can still be open-hearted, right, but it's not so coldly charted. It's just a question of your honesty, and that's literally saying, as long as the music is made by somebody that's making it for a reason, or to be creative, and it's coming from their soul, their heart, it will answer to somebody,
right?
And that's not been a thing that's new. That's how music has always been.
It's always been.
All art. Like you've always mentioned, music is the gateway to the fourth dimension, to the emotional states.
Nothing can change your mindset or your emotions faster than a song. Mm-hmm. You could be in a complete shit mood and hear one song, and it gives you that little sprinkle of hope, even if you're going through something difficult, for just a relief of an hour.
Yeah.
You can, and I've had, like you said, I've had moments in my life where really stressful, really terrible, and all of a sudden, I'm listening to one song that's keeping me on the next level, so I can get through my day.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Wardruna, their whole discography is just, it's one of those things where it's like, I've never seen so many people come to a place where these people are banging on sticks and drums, and people are just like in a trance.
I think I'm trying to get the name of it. because my favorite song, Liffenberg.
Yep, Healing Mountain.
Liffenberg is my favorite. That's fucking fucked up, dude. My songs are always the same ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
that's one of my favorites.
He's got creativity.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I don't know if that's just because it's so bizarre to us with Scandinavian music like that, or if it's just exclusively just him. I do think it's exclusively just him, that he's just that creative with it, because I'm not 100% sure if I've heard too many other things like it.
I've got a couple other guys I could show you that are very, very good.
I know of Heilung.
I'll show you a couple that I really enjoy.
Okay.
That are equally as good.
Okay.
I mean, Orjun is obviously the forefront. They're the number ones. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple other groups that are really good. Mm-hmm. So we could talk about that on another podcast if you want.
For sure. Last thing I want to end this up with, and I've kind of showed you this guy before.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he's an electronic artist. He does like these drum and bass music songs. But apparently, he's coming to town.
Yeah.
Or he might just live here and he's got a show coming up. I don't know. But his name is Vengeant. What he does is he blew up on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that for taking sounds from
like basic stuff.
Like the one
paint mixer or a car making a noise.
Yeah,
or whatever.
In some sort of musical way, but he puts it in his songs and then just makes a little fucking drum and beat bass that you just bob your head to.
I always thought it was really entertaining when he'd show me him. I always laugh a little bit, but I didn't realize he was an actual artist. Like I thought he was just some creative guy going. Like I thought it was great because I was like, that's fucking funny because he's taking, the sound of a door opening and closing. Going, I can write a song on that.
He literally did that, yeah.
Which is literally one of the coolest things. But I didn't realize he was an artist until you told me.
Yeah, he's got a few of his own tracks that are pretty good because I've listened to his discography a little bit here and there. I want to ask, like, would you be interested in going to that show?
I'm down for an E-Life show.
Okay.
Don't even. I mean,
it's on a Thursday, so
it's always. Oh boy. I mean, fuck it. Let's go.
Let's go. I
can be tired for a
I'm
day.
thinking about getting the VIP tickets because it's like $60. So then it'd be $120 for 2 tickets or 3 tickets or
Talk to the wife. I'm sure she wouldn't mind going.
I just like the idea that it would be really fun to go to like this drum and bass show and just see this guy that we just found and just like see.
Well, you found him.
Yeah,
I'll go because I love music. I mean, dude. Yeah, let's. I don't know much about the guy. I mean, I should probably delve into it. I got a whole road trip on Friday. Mm-hmm. Right? The reason why we're recording on a Tuesday right now with our schedules. But I could pop that in my headphones and just rock out for a while.
I mean, this music is not bad either. It's pretty fun.
No,
energetic, really funny.
There was a song playing you had it on the computer and you were playing it and you were talking to I think Ashley, and it wasn't like I was like, oh God, turn this crap off. I was just like, it was like just music in the background.
Mm-hmm, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be a fun show. Thought about just going by myself or seeing if some friends at work would want to go, but I'm kind of half tempted to just be like, I'll just figure it out. But anybody that hasn't checked them out, go check them out. Vengeant, Venjant, or Gent, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Fun guy, really cool concept. Taking some fucking random sounds and making it into drum and bass and making goofy stuff with it. But yeah, all right. Well, let's go ahead and close this episode of the Speakeasy podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to go with your suggestions first, or do you want me to go first?
Why not, man? I just picked up a side scroller called Replaced. For $20 on Steam. It's on my Steam Deck right now. It's Blade Runner as a motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Blade Runner vibes for sure.
I would tell you more about the story, but I think you should just check it out yourself. It's a really good game. Gameplay's solid, and
it's an indie game.
Yeah, and the game is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. In motion, like you can watch a trailer, but
when you're playing
screen,
it and
really
interacting
pretty.
with it, gotcha.
My movie suggestion is a movie called Brotherhood of the Wolf, and it is a medieval film. I've showed you the cover before, but it is the direct inspiration of the Bloodborne outfit.
Yeah,
and
talked about it.
It's about these two characters that go into a medieval town. They think they're being attacked by a werewolf. And some crazy shit happens. It's a good movie. It's in French though, so you have to watch it in subtitles.
No, I don't care about that.
And then I was listening to this today on the way home. Music suggestion at Candlemass. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Mm-mm. They're kind of a doom black metal Swedish band. They've been around forever. The album is Sweet Evil Sun, and the reason why I like this album is because one of my favorite artists is Roy Khan from Camelot and Conception, and this singer has a very similar sound. Cunt.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I've got some ones that I've talked about here. Video games, we've talked about it before. It's called Species Unknown, 4-player co-op space game. They have a new update coming out that adds a new species to the game, and that's coming out on the 21st, I think it is, or the 20th or something?
Thursday.
Yeah, we love that game. It's beautiful. It's Unreal Engine 5.
Play
it's
it.
Double A team.
It's $14.
Fun game. Super fun game. Super fun game, really enjoyable. And then for movies, I picked Starship Troopers. Those are because I was kind of talking about it. I do that. I like to, if I'm talking about something and I liked it, I'd recommend it. But Starship Troopers is a classic film. Everybody fucking knows of it some way, shape, or form. But it's one of those movies that you go back and you can watch it, and it will always be timeless and awesome. For my music suggestions, I got to go with Loving Life again, L.A. Langley. I pick songs that are hitting me right now, and I highly recommend. And for anybody that isn't a country fan and is in the mood for something like that, I would recommend it. I really would highly recommend it. But
sounds good, man.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's go ahead and end this episode.
All right.
See you guys.
There, guys. Check us on Instagram, please.
Oh, yeah, please comment on Instagram and fucking YouTube comments and subscribe on the YouTube channel so that we can get that up.
Yeah.
All right.